At some point, everyone reaches a moment where they realize they want more out of life, more clarity, more discipline, more purpose. But real change doesn't come from chasing quick fixes or momentary motivation. It comes from adopting ideas that reshape the way you think, act, and live. Philosophy has always been the foundation for self-improvement, offering timeless lessons on how to break free from limitations, build unshakable resilience, and create a life of meaning. The right ideas, when truly understood, don't just inform you, they transform you. One of the greatest traps in life is caring too much about what others think. We shape our actions around their expectations, adjusting our personalities to fit in, diluting our own voice for the sake of approval. But the truth is, the more you seek validation, the more you lose yourself. You become trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, measuring your worth by external opinions rather than your own standards. The irony is that true confidence doesn't come from being liked. It comes from not needing to be the moment you stop chasing approval. You become free to live authentically, and in that authenticity, real strength is found. Then there's the problem of inaction. We tell ourselves we'll change, that will start tomorrow, that we just need more motivation. But motivation is fleeting, unreliable, and often absent when we need it most. The people who succeed, who reshape their lives, aren't the ones waiting for inspiration. They are the ones who take action despite not feeling ready. The truth is, laziness isn't just a habit. It's a mindset, one built on avoidance and self-doubt. Breaking free requires discipline, but not the kind that feels like punishment. Real discipline is about building a life so aligned with your purpose that action becomes inevitable. But even when we act, we often make one fatal mistake. We try too hard. We force outcomes, manipulate circumstances, and attempt to control every detail of life. And yet, the more we force something, the more resistance we create. This is the paradox of control. The harder you cling, the more things slip through your fingers. The greatest breakthroughs often come not from control, but from surrender. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the process, allowing things to unfold, and recognizing that effort alone isn't always the answer when you learn to move with life rather than against it. Everything starts to align. Music. Then there's kindness, one of the most praised yet misunderstood virtues. Being kind is a strength, but being overly nice can be a weakness. There's a fine line between generosity and self-sacrifice, between being agreeable and being adored. Many people mistake excessive needs for goodness, when in 0323 reality, it often stems from fear. The fear of rejection, of confrontation, of not being enough. True kindness isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about having the courage to set boundaries, to say no, and to prioritize self-respect over the illusion of harmony. These ideas challenge the way we see ourselves, the way we interact with the world, and the way we define success. The path to inner peace isn't found in seeking approval, waiting for motivation, forcing control, or pleasing others at the cost of yourself. It's found in letting go of fear, of resistance, of expectations, and stepping fully into the person you were meant to. Music B, have you ever stopped yourself from doing something you love because you were worried about what others might think? Maybe you didn't go to the dance class, or you never started your own YouTube channel, or perhaps you just kept silent during meetings. Think about how much richer your life could be if you weren't held back by the fear of judgment. This is a universal dilemma, and it often goes unaddressed, simmering quietly in our day-to-day 0452 choices. In today's video, we're diving deep into why it is crucial to liberate yourself from the weight of others' opinions. The significance of this cannot be overstated, as shedding these concerns not only enhances your self-esteem and personal freedom, but also leads to more genuine relationships and a productive, peaceful life. By the end of this video, you will have acquired a set of practical tools designed to diminish the power of others' opinions over your life decisions, enhancing your sense of freedom. Boost your self-esteem by disconnecting your self-worth from others. Validation, foster resilience, and personal growth. By embracing challenges without fear of judgment, achieve mental peace, and increase your productivity by prioritizing your own standards over societal expectations. Cultivate authentic relationships that are based not on pretense or appearances, but on real meaningful interactions. Imagine a life where your choices are dictated by what truly matters to you, not by fleeting opinions or passing judgments. Picture the kind of unshakable confidence that 0604 comes from knowing you are living authentically. This isn't just idealistic theory, it's a practical way of life that you can start living today if you're thinking, well, I sometimes worry about what people think, but it's not that big of a deal. Let me challenge you with this. The moment you give in, external pressures might seem insignificant, but they cumulatively shape how you live your life and perceive yourself. In this video, I will share personal stories, including my own and philosophical insights that will reveal the profound impact of these seemingly small compromises. To make sure you can apply these insights right away, I'll provide clear, actionable steps that you can incorporate into your daily life. We will explore how historical philosophers and modern-day thinkers address the issue of external validation and how their teachings can be distilled into practical advice for our contemporary lives. Moreover, we will delve into how freeing yourself from the concern of others' opinions can unlock a level of personal productivity and creativity you 0717 might have never thought possible. Have you ever held back a creative idea for fear of criticism, or maybe you've toned down your personality to fit into a particular social or professional box? These are not just compromises, they are missed opportunities for genuine self-expression and fulfillment. What's at stake every day that you let the fear of judgment govern your choices? You are missing out on life, real life, not the sanitized version you curate for others' approval. You're missing out on opportunities for true 0750 connection, for career advancement, and for personal satisfaction by addressing and overcoming these fears. You're not just improving your life in the short term, you're setting a foundation for lifelong authenticity and success. So if you're ready to shake off the shackles of societal expectation and start living a life that's true to your personal vision, then stay tuned. This video will not just inspire you, it will equip you with the knowledge and the tools to transform inspiration into everyday action. As we move forward, I'll also pose 0828 some questions and present scenario for you to consider, which we will resolve together by the end of our discussion. This interactive exploration will not only make our journey together more engaging, but will also help cement these concepts in your life, paving the way for real impactful change, freedom from social constraints. Imagine a young artist named Emily, brimming with creative ideas and a unique vision for her artwork. Emily grew up in a small conservative community where certain styles and expressions were considered the norm, and anything 0919 outside of that norm was met with raised eyebrows and sometimes outright disapproval. Over time, Emily started to suppress her artistic impulses, opting instead to produce art that conformed to the community standards. She received compliments and encouragement for these conformist pieces, but each praise only deepened her sense of inauthenticity. She knew she wasn't being true to her own vision. During a regional art competition, Emily decided to present a piece she thought would meet the conservative tastes of her community. 0955 judges, however, when she saw other artists, especially one from a distant city, presenting bold and provocative works, something within her, music, stirred. This other artist named John showcased a piece that sparked intense debate and didn't win any prizes, but was discussed more than any other entry. After the event, Emily approached John, who spoke passionately about the importance of artistic authenticity and the personal satisfaction it brought him. Despite the lack of traditional accolades, this conversation was a 10:30 turning point for Emily. She realized that the fear of judgment had shackled her creativity, forcing her into a mold that wasn't hers. The realization hit her hard. She was sacrificing her potential to fit into an imposed framework. The real prize, she understood, wasn't the trophy or the public approval, but the internal peace and fulfillment from creating art that was true to her inner vision. From that day, she vowed never to compromise on her creativity for the sake of others' approval. The freedom she felt in making that decision was exhilarating. She felt like she was seeing colors for the first time again. This story echoes the existentialist belief that authenticity is crucial to personal freedom. Existentialists argue that individuals are entirely free and therefore entirely responsible for what they make of themselves by conforming to societal expectations. And individuals deny their own identity and freedom. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Friedrich Nietzsche have emphasized that living authentically allows one to lead a more meaningful and satisfying life. According to S.R.A. Bad Faith, is the term he uses to describe the act of denying one's own freedom and responsibility, essentially deceiving oneself into believing that one does not have the freedom to choose beyond social music constraints. So how can you, like Emily, embrace your personal authenticity and resist societal pressures? Start by identifying areas in your life where you conform to please others or fit in rather than because it aligns with your values or interests. It could be your choice of career, the way you dress, or even your hobbies. Ask yourself, am I doing this for myself or because it's what's expected of me? Begin to make small changes towards authenticity. Perhaps start a project that reflects your genuine interest, or modify your wardrobe to suit your personal style rather than what's music fashionable. Furthermore, learn to recognize and challenge the narratives you tell yourself about why you must conform. These narratives often stem from fear of rejection, fear of failure, or fear of judgment. Counter these fears by affirming your right to make your own choices and accepting that not everyone has to like or agree with those choices. Engage with communities or groups that support individuality and self-expression, which can provide encouragement and reinforce your confidence in your choices. Lastly, practice self-reflection. Regularly reflect on your day or week to identify moments when you felt most authentic and moments you felt trapped by external expectations. Use these reflections to guide your decisions, gradually steering your life towards greater authenticity and personal freedom. By consciously choosing to live authentically, you liberate yourself from the heavy chains of societal expectations. This freedom is not just about making unorthodox choices. It's about making choices that genuinely resonate with who you are. In Emily's case, embracing her true artistic expression not only fulfilled her, but also gradually won acclaim from those who valued originality and authenticity. Like Emily, you have the canvas of your life and you choose the colors that paint it. Make sure they are the colors you love, not just the ones others love to see. Have you ever felt like you're wandering through your career without direction, much like a sailor lost at sea without a compass? In the words of Seneca, if one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable. This ancient wisdom reminds us that without clear goals, our efforts can feel aimless. That's where today's sponsor, Strawberry Career Coaching, comes into play. They connect you with certified career coaches who assist you in defining your career aspirations, because clarity is the first step toward achievement. Crafting a strategic plan, transforming philosophical insights into actionable steps, maintaining accountability, ensuring your journey aligns with your envisioned path. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Embracing challenges with the right guidance turns obstacles into opportunities. If you're ready to navigate your career with purpose, visit strawberry.me/Success Chasers and claim your $50 credit. That's Strawberry. Me/Success Chasers. I've included a link in this video's description. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and professional fulfillment today. Music improved. Music, self-esteem. Self-esteem is our internal view of our self-worth for many. This view is heavily influenced by external validation, the likes, the compliments, the scores on tests, and the applause. But what happens when these external affirmations disappear, or worse, when they turn into criticism? Many people find a self-esteem fluctuating wildly, feeling great when praised and worthless when criticized. This dependence on external validation is like building a house on a shaky foundation. It could collapse at any moment. True self-esteem should be built on a more stable foundation, your own assessment of music yourself. Let's consider the story of Alex, a high school student who excelled academically and was a star player on his basketball team. Alex's self-esteem was tightly tied to his achievements and the approval he received. From his coaches, teachers, and parents, each grade less than an A, and every missed basketball shot was a huge blow to his self-confidence. This cycle of dependence on external success for self-worth reached a breaking point during his senior year when he faced a series of academic challenges and sports injuries that prevented him from performing at his usual level. The applause dwindled, the accolades ceased, and Alex's self-esteem plummeted in his quest to regain his confidence. Alex began to see a counselor who introduced him to the concept of intrinsic value that one possesses independent of achievements or failures. This was a pivotal moment for Alex. He realized that his true worth wasn't a ally of his achievements or the sum of others' approval. He understood that his value as a person was constant and didn't diminish because of a bad test score or a missed basketball game. This shift in perspective was liberating for Alex. It allowed him to view life and its challenges through a new lens, one where he could strive to 1813, improve and succeed without the crushing fear of failure impacting his self-worth. Stoic philosophy, which dates back to ancient Greece and Rome, provides profound insights into this internal approach to self-esteem. Stoic, like Marcus Aurelius and Epicus, emphasized that we should focus only on the things within our control, our own thoughts and actions, and let go of everything else. According to Stoicism, our internal responses to external events are within our control, and thus we should derive our self-worth from our ability to manage our responses appropriately, not from the events themselves or others' opinions about these events. This philosophy teaches that self-validation is not only more stable than external validation, but also more indicative of true character and integrity. So how can you build and maintain self-esteem independently of external validation? Here are a few exercises and mental shifts to consider. Journaling. Start a daily or weekly journal. Reflect on your experiences and focus particularly on your responses to them, rather than the 1931 outcomes. Praise yourself for when you handle situations in alignment with your values, regardless of the external outcome. Setting personal goals instead of goals that depend heavily on external validation, like winning a competition. Set personal growth goals like improving your skills or learning something new. This shifts the focus from outcomes to personal development, affirmations, and self-compassion practice. Speaking positively to yourself with affirmations that reinforce your intrinsic worth. Phrases like, I am valuable just as I am, or my worth isn't defined by my circumstances, can be powerful. Additionally, practice self-compassion. Understand that failing or making mistakes is a part of being human and does not diminish your worth. Mindfulness and meditation, these practices can help you develop a greater awareness of your internal state and teach you to detach from intense, often irrational emotional reactions to external events. Meditation can be a space to internally reaffirm your self-worth and cultivate peace within. Reframe failures as learning. 2044 opportunities. View each setback as an opportunity to learn and grow. This perspective not only reduces the fear of failure, but also enriches your journey toward self-improvement. By integrating these practices into your life, you'll find that your self-esteem becomes less about what people think and more about how you see yourself. Like Alex, you can learn to value yourself not by external standards, but by your own. This change doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent practice, you'll start to feel a profound shift in how you relate to yourself and the world around you. This self-reliance is the essence of true self-esteem, stable, enduring, and entirely within your control. Music, personal growth, and resilience. Personal growth and resilience are often seen as the fruits of overcoming challenges and adversities. However, the fear of external judgment can significantly deter one from facing these valuable growth opportunities. Imagine living in a world where you are free to experiment, to take risks, and to embrace challenges without the looming fear of criticism or 2217 failure. This liberating environment would foster not only innovation, but also significant personal development. Yet the reality for many is far from this ideal. Social fear and the anxiety of not meeting external expectations can lead to a cautious, unfulfilled life where true potential remains untapped. Consider the journey of Sarah, a software developer with a passion for innovation. In her early career, Sarah often held back her ideas during team meetings, fearing that her unconventional proposals might be dismissed or ridiculed. This fear was compounded by a competitive workplace environment and a past experience where her idea had been criticized harshly, leading her to vow never to put herself in such a vulnerable position again. However, everything changed when her company started a new project that aligned perfectly with the unconventional ideas she had been quietly nurturing. Faced with the decision to step forward and contribute her vision, or to remain in the background, Sarah found herself at a crossroads. The turning point for Sarah came during 2330, an impromptu discussion with a new team leader who emphasized the value of innovation and the importance of pushing boundaries. Even if it invited criticism, he shared his own experiences of failures and how those moments were pivotal in achieving subsequent successes. Inspired by this perspective, Sarah decided to step up and lead the project. Her proposals, once a source of personal anxiety, were now instrumental in driving the project forward. This experience brought her a profound realization. Embracing discomfort was not just a necessary evil, but a fundamental enabler of personal and professional growth. The fear of criticism, once a barrier, transformed into a lesson on the importance of resilience and the courage to stand by her ideas. This concept is heavily echoed in the philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche, particularly his ideas on overcoming and the will to power. Nietzsche advocated for the embrace of challenges as essential to the development of individual strength and integrity. He argued that overcoming difficulties is what forges our 2444 character and elevates our capabilities. According to On, the path to self-transformation is inevitably filled with obstacles, but it is only by facing and overcoming these obstacles that individuals can truly realize their potential and affirm their existence. Thus, growth is not merely about achieving success, but about how we evolve through the challenges we encounter and overcome. So, how can you apply this philosophical insight to cultivate personal growth and resilience? Here are some strategies. Seek challenges deliberately. Instead of shying away from 25, 26 tasks or roles that intimidate you, choose them. Actively look for projects that push your boundaries or areas where you feel you have room to grow. The discomfort you feel will be a sign that you are stretching your current capabilities. Use criticism constructively instead of viewing criticism as a negative reflection on your self-worth. See it as valuable feedback that can drive your growth. Learn to sift through feedback critically, discard what is unhelpful, and incorporate what can improve your skills or understanding. Reflect on your experiences. Regular reflection can be transformative. After facing a challenge, take time to reflect on what you learned, how you handled the situation, and how you can apply this knowledge in the future. Reflection turns experience into insight, which is the foundation of personal growth. Embrace a growth mindset. Cultivate a mindset that views skills and abilities as qualities that can be developed, not fixed traits. A growth mindset enables you to view challenges as opportunities to learn rather than tests to pass or 2642 fail. Normalize discomfort regularly. Step outside your comfort zone. This could be through public speaking, taking on leadership roles, or trying new activities that invoke a sense of uncertainty. The more you expose yourself to these situations, the more you desensitize yourself to the anxiety they cause, building your resilience over time. By adopting these practices, you not only enhance your ability to navigate personal and professional challenges, but also prime yourself for continuous growth and self-improvement. Just like Sarah, embracing discomfort and using criticism constructively can significantly expand your horizons, revealing capabilities you might not have realized you possessed. Personal growth is not merely about reaching a destination, but about the journey and the metamorphosis that occurs along the way. Embrace each challenge as an opportunity to forge your path, much like the philosophical teachings of nature, and watch as your world expands in remarkable ways. Music, mental peace, and productivity. In our relentless pursuit of approval and accolades from others, we often find ourselves caught in a tumultuous cycle of emotional highs and lows. Each piece of feedback or criticism can send us spiraling, disrupting not only our mental peace, but also our ability to remain productive. However, imagine a life where your inner peace and focus are dictated not by the changing tides of others' opinions, but by your own steadfast self-assurance and clarity of purpose. This shift from seeking external validation to fostering internal peace is not just liberating, it significantly enhances your productivity and overall quality of life. Consider the story of Maya, a talented graphic designer known for her innovative work. Early in her career, Maya's sense of worth was tightly linked to the feedback she received. Positive reviews from clients or her supervisor would uplift her for days, whereas any negative feedback plunged her into self-doubt and lethargy, severely affecting her creativity and output. This emotional roller coaster not only caused her considerable stress, but also made her hesitant to take on challenging projects that could evoke criticism. However, her perspective began to change following a crucial project that did not go as planned despite her hard work. The client was not pleased, and the criticism was far harsher than warranted. This incident could have crushed her, but instead served as a catalyst for a profound transformation. The aftermath of the project led Maya to seek ways to cope with her stress and the instability of her self-esteem. She began exploring mindfulness and meditation initially as a means to manage her anxiety. Over time, these practices opened her up to the Buddhist teachings on detachment from the ego and the impermanence of external circumstances, including others' opinions. Maya realized that her emotional dependency on external validation was not only a source of pain, but also a significant barrier to her her personal and professional growth. This epiphany that she could choose not to be swayed by the transient opinions of others changed everything for her. She started to focus more on the process and her personal standard of excellence rather than the outcome and the reception of her work. This shift not only restored her mental peace, but also led to a remarkable increase in her productivity. Freed from the fears of criticism, she was able to take more creative risks, leading to some of her best work. Buddhist philosophy offers profound insights into the nature of the ego and attachment, which are particularly applicable here. According to Buddhism, much of human suffering is caused by our attachment to transient things and concepts, including the opinions of others. The ego, which is our constructed self-image based on these attachments, is inherently fragile and constantly under threat. Buddhism teaches the practice of detachment, which is not about becoming indifferent or unfeeling, but about relating to experiences and opinions without letting them define us. This concept is captured in the idea of anicca, or impermanence, which asserts that all conditions, whether good or bad, are transient and will pass. My journey reflects these teachings. By learning to detach from the ego-driven responses to external validations, she was able to maintain her 3207 inner peace. Regardless of external circumstances, her productivity soared as she was no longer paralyzed by the fear of criticism. She was free to innovate and express her creativity without undue stress about how her work would be received. This not only made her more resilient, but also more satisfied and fulfilled in her career. The mental peace that comes from prioritizing internal over external validation cannot be overstated for Maya, and potentially for many others. Understanding and embracing the impermanence of external opinions transformed the way she approached her work and her life. It allowed her to break free from the confines of the ego and the ceaseless search for approval, unlocking levels of creativity and productivity that were previously dampened by fear and doubt. This shift is not merely about changing one's focus, but about a fundamental transformation in how one experiences life and responds to its inevitable ups and downs. The stability and peace that result are not only beneficial for personal well-being, but are also key drivers of sustained 3324 productivity and success. Music. Authentic relationships built on the shaky ground of pretense and constant accommodation to others. Expectations are often superficial and emotionally unsatisfying. While it may seem easier or safer to mold ourselves to fit the perceived desires of others, this often leads to relationships that are not only fragile, but lacking in depth. True connection with others comes from authenticity, from being true to ourselves, and allowing our real selves to interact with the real selves of 3417 others. This authenticity fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships that are resilient in the face of challenges. Consider the story of Jessica, a college student who always struggled with her social identity, eager to be liked and accepted. Jessica frequently adapted her interests, opinions, and even her appearance based on whom she was. With this chameleon-like behavior, helped her fit in with various groups, but it also left her feeling hollow and exhausted, as if none of her friendships were based on who she truly 3453 was. The turning point came during a summer retreat with a diverse group of students who were encouraged to share personal stories and vulnerabilities. Jessica, initially anxious about revealing her true thoughts and interests, was moved by the genuine connections that formed when she finally expressed her real passions. Literature and environmental activism. Jessica's revelation was profound. The people she connected with during the retreat responded with enthusiasm and acceptance. When she was genuine about her interests, this experience illuminated a 3528 crucial truth that True friendships are built on the bedrock of authenticity. She realized that her previous approach of altering her persona was not only attracting the wrong kind of relationships, but was also preventing her from forming real connections based on mutual respect and shared genuine interests. This epiphany marked a new beginning for Jessica. She gradually started to engage more authentically with others, which led to deeper and more fulfilling relationships. Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, offered significant insights into the nature of friendships in his ethical writings. Particularly in the Nikon Ethics, he categorized friendships into three types: those of utility, pleasure, and virtue. Friendships of utility are based on mutual benefit. One person uses the other for their advantage. Friendships of pleasure are based on the enjoyment derived from the other's company most. Profound, however, are friendships of virtue, where both people admire the other's goodness and help one another strive for moral excellence. These friendships are based on true understanding and appreciation 3641 of each other's qualities and are sustained through genuine, honest interactions. Jessica's shift toward authenticity in her relationships aligns with Aristotle's concept of virtuous friendships. These relationships are not maintained through pretense or superficiality, but through the robust foundation of recognizing and valuing the inherent virtues in each other. Such friendships enhance our lives, providing not only comfort and joy, but also moral support and encouragement to grow as individuals, to nurture real relationships, and identify superficial ones. Consider the following steps. Reflect on your relationships. Assess the quality of your current relationships. Ask yourself which friendships feel genuine and which feel obligatory or superficial. Consider what underlies each type of relationship. Is it mutual benefit, pleasure, or a deeper connection? Be authentic. Start small by sharing your true thoughts and feelings in situations where you might usually conform. Pay attention to how others respond over time. Try to extend this authenticity to more significant aspects. 3752 of your life choose quality over quantity. It's more fulfilling to have a few genuine relationships than numerous shallow ones. Focus on deepening relationships where you feel mutual respect and genuine connection. Communicate openly and honestly. Authentic relationships require honest communication. This includes expressing your feelings, desires, and concerns openly, and listening sincerely to others. Support and encouragement in virtuous friendships. Support and encouragement are vital. Be supportive of your friends' goals and challenges, and seek friends who offer the same in return. By applying these practices, you can transform your relationships from superficial connections based on convenience and pretense to profound bonds that enrich your life. Just like Jessica discovered, embracing authenticity not only enhances your relationships, but also contributes to a fuller, more satisfying life. These real connections foster a support system that can provide both emotional and moral encouragement, helping you to thrive in various aspects of 3924 life. As we come to the end of our discussion, let's take a moment to reflect on the transformative insights we've explored today about why not to worry what others think. Each reason we've delved into not only challenges us to rethink our daily interactions, but also encourages us to embrace a life of authenticity and personal freedom. We started with freedom from social constraints, where we saw through Emily's story how liberating yourself from the fear of judgment can unlock your true potential and allow you to express your individuality. Remember, the only person who defines you is you. By embracing who you truly are, you step into a world where your possibilities are not limited by others' narrow perceptions. Next, we discussed improved self-esteem, illustrated by Alex's journey. Alex's realization that his self-worth is inherent and not tied to external achievements is a powerful testament to the importance of building self-esteem from within. This internal foundation of self-worth is your bedrock, and it will stabilize you through life's ups and downs. Practice self-compassion and remind yourself daily that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. In our third point, cultivating personal growth and resilience, we met Sarah, who discovered that real growth comes from stepping out of your comfort zone and using criticism constructively, inspired by N's philosophy. Remember that each challenge is an opportunity to strengthen and assert your capabilities. Actively seek out these growth experiences and watch as they transform you into a more resilient and capable individual. Our fourth discussion on mental peace and productivity brought us to Maya, whose embrace of Buddhist principles of detachment led to significant gains in her creative output and personal peace. This teaches us that by detaching from the need for external validation, you can maintain a tranquil mind and a productive life. Aim to center your peace and productivity within yourself, and watch how much more harmoniously you operate. Finally, authentic relationships, as seen in Jessica's life, remind us that genuine connections are formed not through conformity, but through honesty and vulnerability. Strive to cultivate relationships based on mutual respect and shared values, and you'll find that these friendships enrich and support you on a deeper level. As we conclude, I encourage each of you to take these insights into your daily lives. Experiment with them, apply them in small, everyday interactions, and gradually expand. As you become more comfortable with the practices, the changes you make do not have to be monumental. They just need to be meaningful. Start by choosing one area to focus on, whether it's expressing your authenticity, fostering resilience, or nurturing deeper relationships. You are the architect of your life story. Do not hand the pen to anyone else. Hold it firmly and write a story that is authentically yours, rich in experiences and relationships that truly matter. Embrace the discomfort that comes with growth, for it is the crucible in which the steel of your character is forged. Music. Have you ever wondered why some days you feel unstoppable, while others you can't seem to get off the couch? Why do these bouts of laziness seem to sneak up just when you need motivation the most? Imagine conquering this inertia, not just for a day, but transforming it into a sustained drive that powers every aspect of your life. Music. Today we're diving deep into a universal struggle overcoming laziness. To feel more empowered and in control, by the end of this video, you'll have not just an understanding, but a set of actionable strategies that can significantly alter how you approach your daily routines and challenges. Why is this important? Because the difference between feeling stuck and moving forward lies in the small decisions and changes we are willing to implement. But first, let's talk about why this topic is so crucial. Laziness isn't just about being idle or procrastinating on tasks. It's often a complex interplay of lack of motivation, fear, overwhelming feelings, and poor planning. Each of these factors feeds into the cycle of inactivity, creating a barrier that seems insurmountable. Breaking this cycle means understanding its roots and applying targeted approaches to eradicate them. My journey with laziness has been as real as anyone's. There were days I found myself glued to my chair, mindlessly scrolling through my phone, wasting hours with nothing to show for it. The turning point came when I realized that small, consistent changes could lead to significant transformations. I began by setting achievable goals, which gradually led to larger, more ambitious ones. Each step forward boosted my confidence and diminished the hold laziness had on my 44-55 life. Sharing these experiences and solutions with you isn't just about giving advice. It's about offering a proven pathway that has worked not only for myself, but for countless others who have faced similar struggles. As we delve into the heart of this video, we will explore 5 key reasons that contribute to laziness and provide you with strategies to counteract each one. Whether it's the lack of clear goals that leaves you directionless or the daunting size of tasks that paralyzes your start, each point will be addressed with practical philosophical insights aimed at reshaping your perspective and actions. We will also tackle the fears that prevent us from stepping out of our comfort zones and the poor time management skills that exacerbate our procrastination. Why should you stick around until the end? Because we're not just scratching the surface with general tips like just get organized or stop procrastinating. We are going deeper, uncovering the roots of laziness and equipping you with philosophical insights and psychological tools that 4604 will empower you to initiate and sustain change. The strategies discussed today are tailored to foster long-term improvements in how you manage your energy, focus your efforts, and ultimately how you perceive and tackle tasks. This isn't about quick fixes. It's about building a foundation that supports lifelong productivity and fulfillment. Music. What exactly is laziness? Often we quickly label someone as lazy if they aren't achieving as much as we think they should, or if they spend a lot of time engaging in leisure activities. However, laziness is not just a simple refusal to work or an aversion to activity. At its core, laziness can be seen as a lack of motivation to engage in necessary or meaningful tasks, even when one has the capability to do so. This definition helps us see laziness not just as a personal failing, but as a complex behavior that might have deeper roots. It's crucial to distinguish laziness from other conditions that might mimic its appearance. For instance, someone might seem lazy because they're always tired or 4731 disinterested in activity. But these symptoms could also indicate underlying health issues like depression or chronic fatigue. Syndrome depression often dampens motivation and drains energy, making even simple tasks seem daunting. Fatigue, whether physical or mental, can also one's ability to perform tasks that require effort. Unlike laziness, these conditions are not about a lack of willingness, but rather a decrease in one's capacity to act due to mental health struggles or physical limitations. One of the biggest myths about laziness is that it's merely a lack of willpower. This view oversimplifies the issue and can be damaging, leading to harsh judgments and self-criticism. It implies that if only individuals tried harder, they could easily overcome their inertia. However, this is not always the case. Laziness is often a symptom rather than the main problem. For example, if someone finds a task unrewarding or pointless, their reluctance to engage isn't a matter of willpower. It's a reaction to the perceived lack of value in the task. Similarly, if the task is too complex or 4842 ambiguous, the delay in starting or completing the task isn't laziness, but a natural response to uncertainty. Another common misconception is that lazy people are unproductive in all areas of life, which is often not true. Many people might choose to exert their efforts selectively, focusing intensely on activities they find meaningful or enjoyable while neglecting others. This selective focus isn't laziness, it's a prioritization of interests and values, which can actually be a rational decision-making process. From a psychological standpoint, laziness can be linked to various cognitive and emotional factors. One key concept is the theory of learned helplessness, which is a condition in which a person feels powerless to change their situation due to repeated failures. This feeling of helplessness can lead to a lack of effort because the individual believes that no amount of effort will change their circumstances. Another psychological factor is the concept of delay discounting, where people are more likely to choose immediate smaller rewards over larger delayed ones. This can make 4959 long-term goals seem less appealing fostering procrastination and so-called laziness. Moreover, the way we are conditioned from a young age also plays a significant role in how we approach tasks as adults. For instance, if someone was frequently criticized instead of encouraged during their formative years, they might develop a fear of failure that makes them hesitant to try new or challenging tasks. This isn't laziness, but a protective mechanism to avoid negative emotions and self-perceptions. Additionally, motivational psychology introduces us to the idea of intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. People who are intrinsically motivated perform activities for the sake of the activity itself, because they find it rewarding. In contrast, extrinsically motivated individuals engage in activities for external rewards, or pressures such as grades or approval from others. When intrinsic motivation is low and external incentives are absent or insufficient, what looks like laziness might actually be a lack of compelling reasons to engage in the activity. By understanding these 5114 psychological principles, we can better understand why simply trying harder isn't always the answer to overcoming laziness. Instead, addressing the underlying causes, whether they are emotional, cognitive, or situational, can lead to more effective solutions. One of the fundamental reasons behind what we often perceive as laziness is the lack of clear goals without a specific target or objective in mind, and it becomes difficult to muster the energy or enthusiasm to take music. Action. Imagine trying to hit a target that you can't see. No matter how many times you shoot, your chances of hitting it are slim. This analogy captures the frustration and futility that can accompany unclear or undefined goals. When goals are vague, motivation wanes because you don't have a clear direction or endpoint in mind. This lack of direction can lead to aimless wandering or procrastination. As there's no compelling why driving your actions without a strong why, even simple tasks can seem overwhelming or unnecessary, leading individuals to avoid them altogether, thus being labeled as 5246 lazy. From a philosophical standpoint, the concept of having a purpose or existential drive is central to human motivation, and action philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche and Viktor Frankl have emphasized the importance of having a clear purpose in life. Nietzsche's idea of the will to power suggests that our primary drive is to maximize our own power and potential. In this context, clear goals give individuals a sense of direction and a way to channel their energies constructively, fulfilling their desire to achieve. And 5321 Grow, Viktor Frankl, on the other hand, proposed that finding meaning in life is the primary motivational force in humans. He suggested that when people have a clear sense of what they want to achieve, particularly goals that contribute to a larger purpose or meaning, they are more resilient and motivated to overcome obstacles. These philosophical insights underscore the importance of having goals that are not only clear but also meaningful. When goals align with personal values and contribute to a greater purpose, they become more compelling and motivating. This alignment energizes individuals, propelling them towards action and away from the inertia that is often mistaken for laziness. The first step in setting clear, achievable goals is to define what success looks like for you personally. This means taking the time to reflect on what you truly want to achieve and why it matters. A useful tool in this process is the SMART criteria, where goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. By ensuring your goals meet these criteria, you can increase the clarity 5431 and achievability of each objective. Specific, your goals should be clear and specific so you know exactly what you're working towards. For example, instead of saying, I want to get better at math, a more specific goal would be, I want to improve my math grade from a B to an A by the end of the semester. Measurable, you need to be able to track your progress towards your goal. In a math example, the measurable aspect is the improvement in grades that can be observed and quantified, achievable. Your goal should be realistic and attainable to be successful in achieving it. This doesn't mean that you can't set high goals, but rather that the goals should not be out of reach. For instance, setting a goal to win a Nobel Prize in your first year of undergraduate study is not as achievable as aiming to contribute to a research project in your field of study relevant. The goal should align with your broader life goals and values. If you value academic achievement because it opens doors to good colleges and future job opportunities, then improving your grades is a relevant 55-43 goal time-bound. Every goal should have a deadline or a time frame that specifies when you aim to complete it. The deadline serves as a motivator, encouraging you to plan and execute your actions efficiently. Music, by setting goals that are smart, you provide yourself with a clear roadmap to follow, which enhances your motivation to take action. Regularly reviewing these goals and adjusting them as needed can also help maintain your focus and commitment. Achieving smaller goals can boost your confidence. Reduce feelings of overwhelm by breaking down larger tasks and reinforce the habit of productivity, which collectively help to dissipate the cloud of laziness and inaction. Music. When faced with large, daunting tasks, it's common to feel paralyzed, unsure where to begin or how to proceed. This paralysis isn't just about feeling overwhelmed. It's a psychological response that can trigger a freeze reaction in the face of a big project such as writing a term paper, organizing a community event, or even cleaning a cluttered garage. The brain can interpret 57 in these tasks as threats, creating anxiety and stress. This response is similar to what animals experience in the wild when confronted with danger instead of fleeing or fighting. However, humans often procrastinate. This delay is not due to laziness, but rather an instinctual reaction to what is perceived as an insurmountable task. The sheer scale of a project can cloud our ability to see the individual steps involved, leading us to avoid the task, entirely often misinterpreted as laziness. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism provides valuable insights into handling overwhelming tasks. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca focused on control and rationality, teaching that we should focus only on what is within our power to change and accept what we cannot influence. Applying this to large tasks, Stoicism encourages the practice of chunking or breaking tasks into smaller, more manageable parts. This approach aligns with their teachings on working with nature, including our natural limitations of focus and energy. By dividing a large task into smaller pieces, we reduce the mental and 58-28 emotional load, making the task seem less daunting and more approachable. Each small task accomplished provides a sense of progress and control, which are key to maintaining motivation and reducing the stress that can come from taking on big projects. To effectively break down overwhelming tasks into manageable chunks, several techniques can be employed. One of the most popular and scientifically supported methods is the Pomodoro technique, developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. This technique uses a timer to break work into intervals, traditionally 25 minutes in length, separated by short breaks. Here's how you can apply it. Identify the task. Start with a clear definition of the overall task at hand. For instance, if the task is to prepare for an important exam, the first step is to clearly outline what subjects or topics need to be covered. Break it down. Divide the main task into smaller specific actions. Using the exam preparation example, this could mean creating a list of individual study sessions focused on specific chapters or 59-44 concepts. Set the Pomodoro timer. Begin a 25-minute work session on just one of the smaller tasks. The key is to focus solely on that small part without thinking about the entirety of the project. Take a short break after each session. Take a 5-minute break. This helps to keep the mind fresh and prevents burnout during this break. Avoid thinking about the task and do something completely unrelated like stretching or having a snack. Repeat and review. Continue with subsequent Pomodoros, each followed by a short break. After 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break of about 15 to 30 minutes. This longer break allows the brain to recover and consolidate the information or progress made. Adjust as needed as you work through the tasks. Adjust your chunks or Pomodoros based on what's working or not. Flexibility is key to managing large tasks effectively beyond the Pomodoro technique. Another useful strategy is to visualize the task as a series of steps on a ladder. Each rung represents a smaller achievable goal. As you climb each rung, you not only move closer to completing 10104, the overall task, but also build momentum and confidence. This latter method helps maintain a clear perspective on progress and ensures that each step is actionable and within reach. Music. Fear of failure is a powerful deterrent that can lead to procrastination and avoidance behaviors. This fear stems from the anticipation of negative outcomes such as embarrassment, loss of respect, or a sense of incompetence, which can be so overwhelming that it paralyzes action when faced with the possibility of failing. Many people choose not to try at all, believing that no attempt is safer than a failed one. This avoidance is a protective mechanism shielding one from the immediate emotional discomfort of failure. However, it also prevents learning and growth, keeping individuals in a safe but stagnant position. This cycle of fear and inaction can manifest in various ways, from delaying starting a project to avoiding challenging tasks altogether. The irony of this fear is that by avoiding failure, one also avoids success, as both are often found on the same path. Existentialism, a philosophy that emphasizes individual freedom, choice, and existence, offers a unique perspective on failure. Prominent existentialists like Jean-Paul S. and Frederick N. have argued that failure is an inevitable part of defining oneself and one's values. According to existentialism, the essence of life is not found in avoiding failure, but in how we respond to it. This philosophy encourages embracing failure as a crucial element of the human experience. A tool for self-discovery and personal growth. N's concept of amorphity, or love of one's fate, is particularly relevant here. He suggests that we should not only accept, but also love everything that happens in our lives, including our failures. By adopting this mindset, failure becomes not just an accepted outcome, but a welcomed one, as each failure provides invaluable lessons and opportunities for growth. This radical acceptance can transform our approach to challenges, making us more resilient and open to experiences regardless of their music outcome. To effectively overcome the fear of failure, one must redefine their relationship with failure itself. 10359. Adopting a growth mindset, a concept popularized by psychologist Carl Jung, is crucial in this transformation. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed. Through dedication and hard work, this perspective views failure not as a reflection of inherent incapabilities, but as a natural step in the learning music process. Here are some practical steps to cultivate a growth mindset and redefine failure. Reframe failure. Begin by changing how you perceive failure instead of seeing it as a negative. 10436. Endpoint view. It as a form of feedback or a learning opportunity. For example, if you fail a test, instead of concluding that you're not good at the subject, analyze what went wrong and what you can do differently. Next time, set learning goals instead of focusing solely on performance goals. For example, getting an A on a test. Set learning goals, for example, understanding a concept thoroughly. This shift focuses your attention on the process rather than just the outcome, reducing the pressure associated with fear of failure. Celebrate effort, not just 10513 outcome. Recognize and reward effort, not just success. Celebrating the hard work you put into a task, regardless of the outcome, reinforces the value of persistence and effort. Encourage reflection after a setback. Take time to reflect on what happened. Ask yourself what you learned from the experience and how you can use this knowledge to improve. This reflective practice can help build resilience and a deeper understanding of your music capabilities. Expose yourself to challenges regularly. Stepping out of your comfort zone and facing challenges can desensitize you to the fear of failure. Start with smaller challenges and gradually increase the difficulty as you become more comfortable with the possibility of failing. By embracing these strategies, you can begin to see failure as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. This shift in perception not only alleviates the fear of failure, but also enhances your capacity to pursue goals with courage and confidence. Music. Motivation is the driving force that compels us to take action and pursue our goals. However, there are times when this drive dwindles, leaving individuals feeling listless and unmotivated. Understanding why people sometimes lack motivation requires examining several psychological and environmental factors. One primary reason is the absence of intrinsic motivation, which is the motivation that comes from within, driven by interest and enjoyment in the task itself. When activities are performed solely for external rewards, such as money, grades, or approval, they may not engage one's deeper interests or fulfill 10722 personal values, leading to a reduction in motivation. Another significant factor is the lack of autonomy. When people feel they have no choice or control over their actions, their intrinsic motivation can decrease. This is often seen in educational or workplace settings where the emphasis is on compliance and adherence to rules rather than on fostering an environment where individuals can choose tasks that align with their interests and skills. Additionally, a perceived lack of competence can also undermine motivation if individuals feel that they lack the skills necessary to perform a task effectively, or if the task is too far beyond their current abilities. Motivation can wane due to a sense of futility or fear of failure. Friedrich Nietzsche's views on motivation can be particularly enlightening. In this context, Nietzsche believed in the power of the will to power as a fundamental motivational force, arguing that striving to maximize one's power and potential is at the core of human motivation. This perspective encourages individuals to seek challenges that 10835 foster growth and self-overcoming rather than avoiding them due to fear or complacency. Nietzsche's idea implies that finding tasks that challenge us and align with our personal growth can significantly enhance motivation. In contemporary motivational psychology, theories like self-determination theory go. Some of these ideas, SDT posits that optimal motivation is achieved when three basic psychological needs are met: autonomy, the need to feel in control of one's actions; competence, the need to feel capable and effective; and relatedness, the need to feel connected to others. When these needs are satisfied, individuals experience enhanced self-motivation and well-being, suggesting that environments that support these needs will see higher levels of engagement and motivation from individuals. To increase motivation, particularly intrinsic motivation, it's crucial to connect with personal motivators and create environments that foster autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Here are some practical tips to achieve this. Identify personal interests and 10945 passions. Spend time reflecting on activities that you find enjoyable and fulfilling. Integrating these interests into your daily tasks can help enhance intrinsic motivation. For example, if you enjoy creative writing, try to incorporate this skill into routine assignments or projects. Set personal goals. Align your activities with your personal goals and Values goals that resonate personally are more motivating than those imposed from outside. Make sure these goals are challenging yet achievable to maintain your engagement and interest. Seek challenges. Just as Nietzsche suggested, engaging in challenges that push you to grow can be incredibly motivating. Choose tasks that stretch your abilities but are within your reach. Overcoming these challenges can lead to a sense of accomplishment and boost your motivation to tackle new goals. Cultivate a supportive environment. Surround yourself with people who encourage and support your efforts. Having a network of supportive individuals can fulfill your need for relatedness and provide encouragement during challenging 1-10-57 times. Enhance autonomy whenever possible. Seek ways to have a say in the tasks you undertake or the methods you use. Autonomy is a powerful motivator because it gives you a sense of control over your activities and decisions. Celebrate small wins, recognizing and celebrating progress. Even if small can boost your sense of competence and reinforce your motivation, make a habit of acknowledging your successes and learning from your setbacks. By employing these strategies, you can create a motivational environment that not only drives you to achieve your goals, but also aligns with your personal values and interests, leading to a more fulfilling and engaging music experience. Poor time management can be a significant contributor to feelings of laziness and unproductivity. When individuals struggle to manage their time effectively, tasks often pile up, deadlines loom, and a sense of overwhelm sets in. This overwhelm can lead to procrastination and avoidance behaviors, as individuals feel ill-equipped to tackle a mounting workload. Furthermore, poor time management can create a cycle of 1-12-21 inefficiency, where tasks take longer to complete than necessary due to disorganization or lack of prioritization. This inefficiency can exacerbate feelings of frustration and inadequacy, further diminishing motivation and productivity. In essence, poor time management not only leads to wasted time, but also contributes to a sense of helplessness and inertia, which are often mistaken for laziness. The philosophical implications of time and productivity have long been pondered by thinkers. Throughout history, in ancient philosophy, time was often seen as a limited and precious resource to be used wisely and purposefully. Philosophers like Seneca emphasize the importance of seizing the present moment and making the most of our time on earth. This perspective suggests that wasting time through poor time management is not just a practical concern, but also a moral one, as it represents a failure to fulfill our potential and live up to our responsibilities. From a more contemporary perspective, productivity has become closely intertwined with notions of self-worth, 1332, and success in a society that values efficiency and output. The ability to manage one's time effectively is often equated with personal competence and value. This can create added pressure on individuals to perform and achieve, leading to feelings of guilt or inadequacy when time is not utilized optimally. In this context, poor time management can be seen not only as a practical obstacle, but also as a philosophical quandary, raising questions about the nature of productivity and its relationship to personal identity and music fulfillment. While understanding the various reasons behind laziness and implementing strategies to overcome them is crucial, the real challenge lies in integrating these changes into one's daily lifestyle. It's not enough to simply know what needs to be done. Consistency and application are key to long-term success. Integrating these strategies into your routine is like building a strong foundation for a house. It provides stability and support for future growth and development by making these changes habitual. They 1-15-00 become second nature, reducing the effort required to maintain them and increasing the likelihood of sustained success. The journey towards overcoming laziness And improving productivity is not a sprint, but a marathon. It requires patience, perseverance, and a long-term perspective. The strategies discussed earlier are not quick fixes, but rather tools for building lasting habits that support a productive and fulfilling lifestyle. Research in behavioral psychology suggests that it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic, indicating that consistent application over time is essential for habit formation. By consistently applying the strategies outlined in this video, individuals can gradually rewire their brains and behaviors, making productivity and motivation a natural part of their daily lives. Over time, these habits become ingrained, requiring less conscious effort to maintain. As habits solidify, individuals experience greater ease and efficiency in their tasks, leading to increased confidence and satisfaction. Moreover, the benefits of 1-16-21 habit formation extend beyond productivity. They also contribute to overall well-being and quality of music life. To integrate these changes into your lifestyle, it's essential to establish daily habits that support productivity and combat laziness. Here are some practical suggestions. Morning routine. Start your day with a structured morning routine that sets a positive tone for the rest of the day. This could include activities such as meditation, exercise, journaling, or planning your day ahead. A consistent morning routine helps to jumpstart your energy and focus, making it easier to tackle tasks later on. Task prioritization. Use a to-do list or planner to prioritize your task for the day. Identify the most important and urgent tasks and tackle them first while leaving less critical tasks for later. This helps to prevent overwhelm and ensures that you're focusing your energy on activities that will yield the greatest impact. Time blocking. Allocate specific blocks of time for different tasks or activities throughout the day. This helps to create structure and discipline. In 1-17-36, your schedule, reducing the likelihood of procrastination and ensuring that you're making progress towards your goals. Regular breaks. Incorporate regular breaks into your day to rest and recharge. Research shows that taking short breaks can actually improve productivity and concentration as it allows your brain to reset and refocus. Use breaks to engage in activities that relax and rejuvenate you, such as going for a walk, practicing deep breathing, or enjoying a healthy snack. Reflective practice at the end of each day. Take some time to reflect on your accomplishments and challenges. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and identify areas for improvement. This reflective practice helps to reinforce positive behaviors and allows you to make adjustments to your approach as needed. Consistent bedtime. Prioritize getting enough sleep and establish a consistent bedtime routine. Adequate rest is essential for cognitive function, mood regulation, and overall well-being. Aim for 7-9 hours of sleep per night and create a relaxing bedtime routine to signal to your body 1-18-52 that it's time to wind down. By incorporating these daily habits into your lifestyle, you can create a supportive environment that fosters productivity and combats laziness. Remember, consistency is key. Small, consistent actions over time lead to significant changes and long-term success. Today, we've explored the multifaceted nature of laziness and uncovered strategies to overcome its grip on our lives, from understanding the psychological roots of laziness to implementing practical techniques for improvement. We've delved into various aspects of this pervasive issue. Let's recap the key points discussed. We began by dissecting the concept of laziness, distinguishing it from other conditions, and debunking common misconceptions, understanding that laziness is often a symptom rather than a character flaw. Lays the groundwork for effective intervention. Next, we explored the importance of clear goals in combating laziness, drawing on philosophical insights to underscore the significance of purpose and direction in our lives. by setting smart goals and aligning them with our values. We empower 12023 ourselves to overcome in IA and strive for meaningful achievements. We then tackled the paralysis induced by overwhelming tasks, incorporating Stoic principles and practical techniques to break down daunting projects into manageable steps by adopting the Pomodoro technique and embracing challenges. We can navigate complex endeavors with confidence and efficiency. Fear of failure emerged as another significant barrier to productivity, prompting us to embrace failure as a catalyst for growth rather than a deterrent. By cultivating a growth 12101 mindset and reframing our relationship with failure, we can harness its transformative power to propel us forward. Poor time management also came under scrutiny, highlighting the importance of prioritization and discipline in maximizing our productivity. Integrating daily habits such as time blocking and reflective practice into our routines fosters a sense of structure and purpose, reducing the likelihood of succumbing to laziness in the quest to combat laziness. The journey doesn't end with knowledge. It begins with action. I urge you to take these strategies to heart and apply them in your own lives, whether you're a student striving for academic success, a professional navigating the complexities of the workplace, or simply an individual seeking personal growth. The principles outlined in this video are universally applicable. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It's the cumulative effect of small, consistent actions that leads to profound transformation. Commit to implementing these strategies daily, even when the going gets tough. Embrace challenges as 12215 opportunities for growth, and never lose sight of your intrinsic worth and potential. Let us heed the words of Winston Churchill. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts with courage and determination. We can overcome laziness and unlock our fullest potential. So go forth and seize the day, knowing that greatness awaits those who dare to defy inertia and pursue their dreams. Music. Have you ever found yourself puzzled by the paradox that those who are invariably the nicest, the ones who go out of their way to accommodate others, often seem to be caught in the web of life's most intricate challenges? This question isn't just rhetorical. It touches on an observable pattern that many of us witness, yet seldom pause to deeply analyze. The essence of niceness, wrapped in layers of societal expectations and personal aspirations, frequently leaves us on the precipice of an unsettling revelation. Being excessively nice might not be as virtuous or rewarding as we've been led to. Music, believe in today's exploration. We delve 12348 into the hidden complexities of being nice and the unseen troubles it unfurls, especially for the individual themselves. The term nice is deceptively simple, yet beneath its four-letter facade lies a labyrinth of implications, both for personal well-being and for our interactions with others. This journey isn't just about critiquing niceness, it's an invitation to uncover the nuanced reality that governs our relationships and self-perception. Why is it that the nicest among us often find themselves overburdened, underappreciated, 12427, and paradoxically isolated in their quest to be universally liked? At the heart of this inquiry lies a fundamental truth about human nature and the society we navigate. Nietzsche, as a societal currency, holds immense value. It smooths interactions, opens doors, and often is seen as a shortcut to building rapport and trust. Yet the economy of Nietzsche is fraught with inflation. The more we invest in being unconditionally nice, the higher the toll it exacts on our authentic selves, leading to an imbalance that can drain our emotional reserves and skew our 12508 relationships. But why does this happen? Why does the path of excessive neatness lead to such unforeseen complications? The answer, though complex, hinges on the delicate dance between self-sacrifice, and self-neglect, a dance that many of us are unwittingly enrolled in from an early age. This isn't just about saying yes when we want to say no, or the countless times we prioritize others' needs and comfort over our own. It's about a profound impact these choices have on our psyche, our relationships, and our ability to lead genuinely fulfilling lives today. We're not just scratching the surface, we're digging deeper beyond the commendable traits of kindness and generosity to examine the shadow side of niceness, the side that compromises our well-being, clouds our judgment, and ironically, diminishes our ability to genuinely connect with others. This exploration is not an indictment of kindness. Rather, it's a call to redefine what it means to be truly nice to ourselves. First, and by extension to those around us, what you're about to gain from this video is not just insight into the 12622 pitfalls of being overly nice, but a roadmap to navigating the fine line between genuine kindness and self-key compromise. The realization that true niceness doesn't mean erasing boundaries, but rather drawing them wisely. It's about discovering that the most profound acts of kindness start with being kind to oneself, setting the foundation for healthier, more authentic relationships. So if you've ever felt the weight of being too nice or wondered why those who give the most often end up with the least, you're in the right place. Stick around as we unravel the intricate dance of niceness, challenge its conventional boundaries, and redefine its place in our lives. This is more than an exploration. It's an invitation to a journey toward self-discovery, empowerment, and a more balanced way of interacting with the world. Music. Venturing into the heart of our exploration begins with disentangling the threads of what it genuinely means to be nice. This term, often tossed around in daily conversations, carries weight far beyond its simplistic usage at its core. 12751 Ness is a multifaceted gem reflecting societal expectations, personal values, and the innate human desire to connect. However, as we delve deeper, it becomes apparent that the societal portrayal of Nietzsche is a double-edged sword sharpened by expectations and DED by the sacrifices it demands to untangle this. We must differentiate between genuine kindness and the societal mask of Nietzsche. Genuine kindness springs from a place of empathy, compassion, and an authentic desire to contribute positively to someone's life. It's an intrinsic quality, 12831, unmeasured and freely given, without the expectation of reciprocity. In contrast, societal niceness often emerges as a role. We play a series of actions performed under the weight of expectation. It's the polite smile we offer when we'd rather express discontent, the yes we utter when our hearts scream. No, this form of nice is transactional, performed in anticipation of social approval, acceptance, or to fulfill the roles we believe we must adhere to in our personal and professional lives. The common perception of Nietzsche as 12907, a universally positive trait, is deeply ingrained in our societal fabric. From childhood, we are taught that being nice is synonymous with being good. This teaching is not inherently flawed. It nurtures the foundational aspects of social cohesion and empathy. However, the reward system built around this concept often fails to acknowledge the complexity of human emotions and the diversity of interpersonal interactions. The societal rewards for an IS being liked, accepted, or considered agreeable can compel individuals to suppress their genuine feelings, needs, and boundaries in favor of maintaining a facade of agreeableness. This dynamic creates an environment where individuals may continuously compromise their authentic selves, leading to a disconnect between their internal experiences and external expressions. Yet beneath the agreeable smiles and the commendable acts of selflessness, there's a more intricate issue at hand: the relentless pursuit of niceness, especially when it crosses into the realm of self-neglect, poses significant questions about the 13019 sustainability of such behavior and its impact on personal well-being. Music, the glorification of self-sacrifice in the name of Nietzsche, overlooks the critical importance of self-care and personal boundaries. As a result, individuals who consistently prioritize societal expectations of Nietzsche over their well-being may find themselves on a path of emotional exhaustion and resentment. This dynamic not only undermines the genuine connection and mutual respect foundational to healthy relationships, but also perpetuates a cycle where individuals feel compelled to continue this unsustainable exchange of authenticity for acceptance. This realization beckons a deeper examination of the societal construct of Nietzsche and its implications for personal and collective well-being. It challenges us to confront the uncomfortable truths about the cost of adhering to these expectations and the need for a paradigm shift towards valuing authenticity and genuine kindness. As we navigate this complex terrain, the journey ahead promises not only insights 131 into the inherent contradictions of societal niceness, but also pathways towards cultivating a more authentic and fulfilling way of relating to ourselves and others. The exploration of Nietzsche in its societal and personal dimensions invites us to reconsider the values we champion and the behaviors we reward within our communities and relationships. It beckons a reevaluation of the ways in which we define and demonstrate kindness, urging a move away from performative gestures and towards a more authentic expression of empathy and compassion. In doing so, we not only enrich our personal lives, but also contribute to the creation of a society where individuals are celebrated for their genuine contributions to the well-being of others rather than their adherence to prescribed roles of niceness. This nuanced understanding of Nietzsche and its implications is not merely academic, it's a vital step towards fostering healthier, more authentic relationships. It encourages us to question the roles we play, the masks we wear, and the true cost of the societal 132-36 accolades we seek. As we peel away the layers of societal expectations, we uncover the core of genuine kindness, a quality that does not demand the eraser of self, but rather flourishes in the space where authenticity and empathy intersect. This realization is not an end point, but the beginning of a more profound exploration of what it means to be truly nice to ourselves first, and by extension to those around. Music, us to weave the thread of understanding further. Let's immerse ourselves in a narrative that mirrors the lived experiences of countless individuals. Picture Alex, a protagonist whose life is a testament to the quintessential definition of niceness. Alex is the person everyone turns to in times of need, the one who never says no, who always lends a hand, and whose presence is synonymous with warmth and support. This reputation for being unfailingly nice is both Alex's pride and, as we'll discover, a profound source of personal turmoil. His journey through the realm of niceness is not unlike a ship sailing in turbulent waters. The struggle begins to surface as the very traits that define his niceness, empathy, generosity, and a deep-seated desire to make others happy, become the chains that bind and restrict the incessant need to meet others' expectations, and the fear of disappointing anyone lead him down a path of overcommitment and self-neglect, despite the outward appearance of happiness and the accolades for being the epitome of kindness. He harbors feelings of unfulfillment and exploitation, the realization that his kindness is often taken for granted, and 13440 his efforts seen as obligations rather than gestures of goodwill cast a shadow over Alex's perception of niceness. The climax of his story arrives at a moment of acute crisis, a point where the impulse balance between giving and receiving, between selflessness and self-preservation, becomes untenable. faced with yet another demand on his time and energy, a demand that clashes with his own needs. Alex reaches a breaking point. It's a moment fraught with tension, where the fear of letting others down wrestles with the burgeoning awareness of self-worth and the need for self-care. This pivotal moment forces him to confront a painful truth. His relentless pursuit of Nietzsche has come at the cost of his own well-being and happiness. From this crucible of realization, an epiphany emerges, illuminating his understanding of true kindness. This moment of clarity reveals that genuine kindness is not an inexhaustible resource to be dispensed at the expense of one's health and happiness. Instead, it's a quality that flourishes in the balance between giving to others and honoring oneself. He comes 135:53 to understand that setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but a crucial expression of self-respect and self-care. This epiphany marks a turning point in his journey, catalyzing a transformation in how he navigates his relationships and obligations. By prioritizing self-care and learning to say no, he begins to rediscover the joy in helping others, not out of obligation, but from a place of genuine capacity and desire. This story, while fictional, mirrors the realities of many who find themselves trapped in the cycle of performative Nietzsche. It serves as a mirror reflecting our own experiences, inviting us to examine the balance between kindness and self-preservation in our lives. How often have we, like Alex, extended ourselves beyond our limits in the name of niceness? How many times have we silenced our needs, ignored our boundaries, and prioritized others' comfort over our well-being? His journey prompts us to question the sustainability of our actions and the authenticity of our interactions. It encourages us to redefine our understanding of 13708 kindness, to recognize that true kindness encompasses self-care and the courage to establish and maintain healthy boundaries. As we reflect on Alex's story, we're invited to engage in a personal audit of our relationship with Nietzsche. This reflection isn't meant to diminish the value of being kind or to discourage acts of generosity. Instead, it's an invitation to cultivate a more balanced approach to niceness, one that acknowledges the importance of self-care and the strength inherent in setting boundaries. By doing so, we not only 137:45 safeguard our well-being, but also enhance the quality and authenticity of our kindness towards others. His narrative, with its struggle and revelations, serves as a beacon for those navigating the complexities of Nietzsche. It underscores the message that true kindness is a balanced act, one that harmonizes the giving of oneself with the preservation of one's integrity and happiness. This story is a call to action, urging us to embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation, where the act of being genuinely nice includes 138:20. Being kind to ourselves and embracing this balanced approach, we not only enrich our lives, but also contribute to a culture of authentic and sustainable music, kindness. Diving deeper into the intricacies of Nietzsche and its implications, we encounter the psychological landscape shaped by the pursuit of perpetual agreeableness. This terrain, though often glossed over with the veneer of social harmony, harbors deep fissures that affect the mental and emotional well-being of the overly music. Nietzsche, the relentless drive to conform to the archetype of Nietzsche, exerts a profound toll on individuals, manifesting in a spectrum of psychological challenges, from diminished self-esteem to chronic stress and even burnout. The mental and emotional toll of excessive niceness stems from a chronic misalignment between one's authentic feelings and external behaviors. This dissonance over time erodes the foundation of personal integrity, leading to feelings of invisibility and invalidation in the overly nice often find themselves trapped in a cycle of people-pleasing where the validation and 139.48 approval of others become the barometers of their self-worth. This relentless quest for external affirmation is a precarious scaffold susceptible to the slightest gust of disapproval or indifference. The resultant psychological strain is multifaceted, manifesting in anxiety over potential conflict depression stemming from unmet personal needs and a pervasive sense of being overwhelmed by the demands of others. The irony is palpable in their quest to be universally liked and to avoid conflict. The overly nice inadvertently sow the seeds of inner turmoil and dissatisfaction. This psychological burden extends its tendrils into the realm of relationship dynamics, where the principle of newness can significantly skew perceptions and interactions in relationships, where one party consistently prioritizes niceness. An imbalance often emerges characterized by unequal emotional labor and a lack of reciprocity. This imbalance not only dampens the authenticity of the connection, but can also foster resentment and dependency. For the overly nice individual, their relationships become 141.03. Arenas of constant performance where the fear of upsetting the status quo or disappointing others shackles their ability to express genuine feelings and needs. Consequently, these relationships may lack depth and authenticity as they are built on the shaky foundation of suppressed truth and unspoken boundaries. The dynamics become further complicated by the fact that this imbalance often goes unacknowledged, as acknowledging it would necessitate confronting the very conflicts the overly nice seek to avoid. Thus, the cycle perpetuates with genuine 141.38 intimacy and mutual respect remaining just out of reach. Amidst these personal struggles, the broader societal expectations of newness loom large, casting long shadows over individual autonomy and authenticity. Society, with its intricate tapestry of norms and values, often elevates niceness to a virtue par excellence. Laying it as the hallmark of good citizenship and moral character, this societal pedestal, however, comes at a cost. It pressures individuals to conform to an idealized image of agreeableness, often at the expense of 142.15, their genuine emotions and opinions. This pressure is not merely abstract. It manifests in the subtle cues of everyday interactions, the media narratives that glorify selflessness, and the institutional cultures that prioritize harmony over healthy dissent. The cumulative effect of these pressures is a cultural meal that discourages confrontation and prioritizes surface level peace over genuine understanding and respect for personal boundaries. This critique of societal pressures is not an indictment of the values that underpin social cohesion 142.51, such as empathy and cooperation. Rather, it is a call to re-examine the balance between these values and the equally important principles of authenticity and personal integrity. The challenge lies in navigating a social landscape that often equates Nietzsche with virtue. Without succumbing to the pitfalls of performative agreeableness, it requires a collective reimagining of what it means to be genuinely nice, a reimagining that embraces the complexity of human emotions, acknowledges the importance of boundaries, and celebrates the courage to 143.25 be authentic as we consider the psychological impacts of excessive newness, the skewed dynamics it introduces into relationships and the societal pressures that perpetuate this cycle. The call to action becomes clear. It is a call to embrace a more nuanced understanding of kindness, one that honors the self as much as it honors others. This understanding challenges us to question the societal scripts that dictate our interactions and to forge a path toward a more authentic and balanced expression of newness, one that nurtures our well-being and enriches our relationships with genuine connection and respect. Music, in the quest to dissect the nuances of newness. A journey through the annals of philosophy unveils centuries-old wisdom that remains strikingly relevant today. The philosophical discourse on Ness, particularly as it intersects with self-sacrifice and altruism, is rich and varied, offering insights that challenge and complement our contemporary understanding. At the heart of these discussions lies the ancient philosophy of Aristotle, who introduced the concept of the golden mean, a principle advocating for a virtuous middle ground between two extremes. Aristotle's ethos suggests that virtue lies not in excess or deficiency, but in balance. This principle, when applied to Ness, prompts a reconsideration of our tendencies towards excessive selflessness or self-negation in the name of being agreeable. Aristotle's philosophy encourages us to seek a balance where kindness does not bleed into self-erasure, but is instead a measured expression that respects both our well-being and that of others. His insights beckon us to navigate the complex terrain of human interactions with a compass calibrated towards ethical balance, fostering a form of niceness that harmonizes with personal music, integrity. Transitioning from the ancient to the modern, the philosophical landscape shifts to explore the terrain of authenticity, boundaries, and the ethics of care. In this context, the work of Jean-Paul Sartre, an existentialist philosopher, challenges us to confront the essence of authenticity in our actions and relationships. Sartre's philosophy, with its emphasis on existential freedom and individual responsibility, interrogates the authenticity behind societal needs. He posits that in every action, we are fully responsible for our choices and the person we choose to become. This existential autonomy places us at the crossroads of being for ourselves and being for others, where niceness, if unexamined, can become a bad faith action, a denial of our authentic being in favor of societal approval. Sartre's exploration invites us to consider whether our niece is a genuine expression of our freedom and 14650 responsibility, or a retreat into the safety of social formity. The philosophical inquiry into Ness also confronts the moral quandaries surrounding exploitation and the ethics of allowing oneself to be taken advantage of. Here, the Kantian perspective on self-respect and autonomy provides a critical lens through which to examine the implications of excessive neediness. Immanuel Kant's ethical framework, centered on the inherent dignity and worth of the individual, categorically opposes the exploitation of oneself or others as means to an end. From this viewpoint, excessiveness, especially when it encroaches upon one's autonomy and self-respect, is ethically untenable. Kant's philosophy underscores the importance of asserting one's moral agency and respecting one's boundaries as a duty, not just to oneself, but to the moral order. This perspective illuminates the ethical dimensions of Ness, challenging us to uphold our dignity and autonomy, even as we navigate the complexities of social interactions and altruistic impulses. The philosophical debates on Ness, altruism and self-preservation, 14802, converge in a dynamic discourse that seeks to reconcile the seemingly conflicting demands of kindness towards others and the imperative of self-care. This dialogue engages with a spectrum of philosophical thought, from the Stoics' advocacy for self-mastery and internal peace to the utilitarian calculus of maximizing overall happiness. The crux of this debate hinges on finding a sustainable equilibrium between altruistic endeavors and the preservation of one's well-being. The challenge, as articulated by contemporary philosophers and ethicists, lies in cultivating a form of Ness that neither exhausts the self nor neglects the other. This philosophical exploration encourages a reevaluation of our motivations and practices, guiding us towards a form of Ness that is both ethically informed and personally sustainable. In this rich tapestry of philosophical thought, from Aristotle's golden mean to the existentialist calls for authenticity and the ethical imperatives of self-respect. The concept of ness is reframed and revitalized. These philosophical 149.13 perspectives invite us to engage with ness not as a societal mandate to be unconditionally agreeable, but as a nuanced, ethically grounded and balanced approach to living. They challenge us to reconceptualize ness in a way that honors our autonomy, respects our boundaries, and embraces the genuine care for others as an extension of our care for ourselves. Through this philosophical lens, niceness emerges not as a weakness or a liability, but as a virtue that, when rightly understood and practiced, enriches our lives and the lives of 149.47, those around us, music. As we navigate through the complex landscape of ness, it becomes evident that the path towards healthier interactions and genuine connections lies in the establishment of clear boundaries, the cultivation of authentic kindness, and a commitment to personal growth. These elements are not just solutions to the pitfalls of excessive neediness, but are foundational pillars for building a life of integrity, respect, and true well-being. Setting boundaries is paramount to maintaining healthy relationships and preserving one's sense. 150.41 of Self-Boundaries act as the framework within which we can operate with freedom and personal integrity. They enable us to define our limits and communicate our needs effectively, thereby preventing in the resentment and burnout that often accompany unchecked ness. Establishing boundaries is an act of self-respect and a declaration of our worth. It requires clarity about what we are willing to accept in our interactions with others and the courage to uphold these standards even in the face of opposition or disappointment. The process of setting 150.118 boundaries is inherently personal and can vary significantly from one individual to another. It involves a deep understanding of one's values, needs, and limits, and the assertiveness to communicate these aspects clearly and respectfully. In doing so, we not only protect our well-being, but also foster relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, where kindness flows freely, unmarred by obligation or sacrifice. The journey towards authentic kindness necessitates a discernment between acts of naive, born out of 150.155 societal expectation, and those that stem from a genuine desire to connect and contribute positively to others' lives. Authentic kindness is characterized by its spontaneity, sincerity, and the absence of ulterior motives. It is kindness that seeks no reward, expects no recognition, and is guided by an inner compass of compassion and empathy. Cultivating this form of kindness requires an introspective journey to reconnect with our innate capacity for empathy and compassion, unshackled by the need for approval or acceptance. It involves a conscious 152.33 decision to engage with the world from a place of authenticity, where our actions are reflections of our true selves and our intentions are aligned with our core values. This form of kindness enriches our interactions, deepening our connections with others in meaningful and fulfilling ways. It transforms our relationship, making them vessels for mutual growth and understanding, rather than arenas for performativeness. Personal growth emerges as a natural progression from the establishment of boundaries and the 153.05 practice of authentic kindness. It encompasses the development of assertiveness, the cultivation of authenticity, and the relentless pursuit of self-awareness. Assertiveness allows us to express our thoughts, feelings, and needs openly and respectfully without encroaching on the rights of others. It is a vital skill in navigating the complexities of human relationships, ensuring that our voices are heard and our boundaries, music, respected. Authenticity, on the other hand, demands that we live in alignment with our true selves, embracing our strengths, acknowledging our weaknesses, and rejecting the masks of conformity that society often imposes. This commitment to authenticity not only fosters personal integrity, but also serves as a beacon for others, inspiring them to embrace their true music selves. Finally, the journey of personal growth is fueled by self-awareness, the continual process of reflecting on our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and understanding how they shape our interactions with the world. Self-awareness enables us to recognize the patterns that govern our actions, including those that lead to excessive neediness, and to consciously choose a different path, one that honors our well-being and fosters genuine connections. The path towards overcoming the pitfalls of excessive neediness is paved with the principles of setting boundaries, practicing authentic kindness, and pursuing personal growth. These principles serve not only as antidotes to the challenges of niceness, but also as guiding lights towards a life of authenticity, integrity, and fulfilling relationships. By embracing these solutions, we embark on a journey of transformation where each step forward is a step towards a more genuine, balanced, and enriching way of being. This journey is not without its challenges, but the rewards of life lived with authenticity, respect, and genuine connection are immeasurably worth the effort. Music. Before we close this video, let's pause and reflect on the journey we've embarked upon together. We ventured into the intricate world of neediness, guided by the story of Alex, a protagonist emblematic of the struggles faced by those who carry the weight of being perpetually nice. Music. Alex's narrative unfolded from the initial allure of being the go-to person for everyone through the ensuing challenges of feeling unappreciated and overextended to the pivotal realization that true kindness involves a balance between caring for others and oneself. This epiphany was not just a turning point for Alex, but a beacon for us all. Illuminating the path to healthier interactions and more authentic connections, the insights gleaned from Alex's story, coupled with the wisdom of philosophical perspectives, 15630 reveal a profound truth. Excessive niceness, untempered by self-respect and boundaries, can lead to a life of dissatisfaction and invisibility. We've seen how the psychological toll of this imbalance can affect our well-being, how it can distort the dynamics of our relationships, and how societal pressures often exacerbate the issue. Yet in the rich tapestry of discussions on boundaries, authenticity, and personal growth, we find not only solutions to these challenges, but also an invitation to a more fulfilling way of life. Now, I turn to you, the viewers. Your experiences, your struggles, and your victories in navigating the complexities of niceness are invaluable. I encourage you to share your stories in the comments below. How have you confronted the challenge of being too nice? What steps are you taking to set healthy boundaries, to cultivate authentic kindness, and to embark on a journey of personal growth? Your reflections can shine a light for others who find themselves in the shadows of excessive niceness, offering hope and guidance. As you ponder 15741, your contributions to this dialogue, remember that the journey toward balancing kindness with self-care is ongoing. It's a path marked by continuous learning, self-reflection, and most importantly, self-compassion. Each step you take towards asserting your boundaries, each moment you choose authentic kindness over performative neediness, you not only reclaim a piece of yourself, but also set a precedent for healthier, more genuine interactions. Let this exploration be a catalyst for change in your life. Let the story of Alex, the philosophical insights, and the discussions on boundaries and authenticity inspire you to live with intention and integrity. You have the power to transform your relationships, to nurture your well-being, and to cultivate a life of genuine kindness and respect. Remember, being nice doesn't mean you have to lose yourself in the process. On the contrary, it's in finding the balance that you truly enrich not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. Music. Music. Have you ever clenched sand in your fist only to see it slip through your fingers, 159.10 the tighter you squeezed? Or maybe you've tried to control every little detail of a situation only to watch it unravel spectacularly in ways you never anticipated. Why does it feel like the harder we grip, the more life escapes our grasp? And more importantly, what does that say about our approach to control? This is a paradox we've all encountered. Whether we realize it or not, the more we try to control the world, our relationships, or even ourselves, the more resistance we seem to face. Why? Because what you try to control often ends up controlling you. Think about it. The person obsessed with control, controlling their image, becomes enslaved to the opinions of others. The perfectionist becomes trapped by their own impossibly high standards, and in our attempts to impose order, we often create chaos. But why does this happen, and how can we navigate it? The paradox of control isn't just a philosophical curiosity, it's a lens through which we can examine some of the most profound challenges of human existence, from ancient Stoicism to modern psychology. Thinkers across 2024 history have grappled with this question: what should we try to control and what should we let go? And here's the kicker. Understanding this paradox might just change how you approach everything in your life: relationships, work, personal growth. Even the pursuit of happiness itself all hinge on how you handle this delicate balance. This is not about giving up or resigning yourself to chaos. Far from it. It's about learning to focus your energy where it truly matters, distinguishing between what's within your grasp and 20100 what isn't. It's about discovering that sometimes the greatest power lies in letting go. We'll break down this idea from multiple angles. We'll look at how it plays out in your mind and your emotions, why you crave it, why it so often fails you, and how it can backfire when pushed too far. We'll explore what philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Friedrich Nietzsche, and Lao had to say about control. We'll even dig into the science of it, how modern psychology explains our illusions of control, and why letting go can lead to better mental health and 20137 decision-making. And here's the promise, stick with me, and you'll walk away with a fresh perspective, one that will empower you to let go of the futile struggles for control while reclaiming what truly matters. By the end, you'll understand why the paradox of control isn't something to fear, but something to embrace. Imagine this. What if the key to happiness wasn't in holding on tighter, but in loosening your grip? What if, by understanding this paradox, you could unlock a sense of freedom and clarity you've never known before? It's not an exaggeration to say 20215 that this one shift in perspective could transform how you see the world and your place in it. So whether you're here because you've been caught in the endless cycle of trying to control the uncontrollable, or you're just curious about how this paradox could apply to your life, you're in the right place. Let's unravel the mystery of control, one layer at a music time. Let's begin by understanding what we mean by control at its core. It is the ability to direct, regulate, or manage something to achieve a desired 20300 outcome. It's an essential part of life, after all. Without it, how would we navigate the complexities of the world? Think about it. When you steer a car, you control its direction to get safely to your destination. When you manage your time, you control your day to achieve your goals. Control, in this sense, is neither good nor bad. It's simply a tool we use to interact with the world. But here's where things get tricky. When we try to extend it beyond our natural limits, we often find ourselves in trouble. Why do humans crave it? So 20337, deeply to answer this, we need to look at our evolutionary roots. Thousands of years ago, survival depended on controlling our environment To some degree, early humans needed to predict the weather hunt effectively and find shelter to stay alive. The more control they had over these factors, the safer they felt over time. This desire for control became hardwired into our psyche. Even today, it provides a sense of security and stability when we feel in control. Life seems more predictable and uncertainty feels less threatening, but this instinct 20414 can also lead us astray, especially when we try to manage things that are inherently unpredictable, like other people, the future, or even our emotions. It's important to distinguish between healthy and unhealthy control. Healthy control is about focusing on what's within your power, like your actions, thoughts, and decisions. For example, studying for a test, practicing a skill, or choosing to respond calmly in a stressful situation are all forms of healthy control. These actions empower you and lead to growth. Unhealthy control on the other two, 0452, other hand involves trying to dominate or manipulate things outside your influence. Think of a person who constantly worries about what others think of them, micromanages every aspect of their partner's life, or obsesses over outcomes they can't guarantee. This kind of control doesn't just fail, it often creates the very problems it's trying to prevent. Now, let's dive into the paradox. At its heart, the paradox is this: the more you try to control something, the more it seems to slip out of your grasp. Why does this happen? Because control can create resistance. When you impose your will too forcefully on a situation or person, you often trigger pushback, conflict, or unintended consequences. For instance, imagine a leader who micromanages every detail of their team's work. Instead of fostering productivity, they might create a toxic environment where employees feel stuck, stifled, and disengaged. Similarly, think about someone who tries to control every aspect of their appearance or reputation. Their obsession can lead to anxiety, burnout, and even self-sabotage. This idea is not new. It's a lesson embedded in stories and philosophies throughout history. Take the myth of King Midas, for example. Midas wanted to control his wealth and turned everything he touched into gold, but his greed backfired when he couldn't eat or even touch his loved ones without turning them into lifeless gold. Or consider the story of Icarus, who ignored his father's advice and flew too close to the sun in an attempt to control his flight. His wings melted and he fell into the sea. Both myths illustrate how the desire for excessive control often leads to disastrous outcomes. This paradox has deep philosophical roots, particularly in Stoicism. The ancient Greek and Roman philosophers believed that a fulfilling life comes from focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. Epicurus, a prominent Stoic thinker, put it simply: some things are up to us and some things are not. According to the Stoics, what's within your control are your thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Everything else, like the behavior of others, external events, or even your own health, is outside your influence. Trying to control these external factors is not only futile, but also a recipe for frustration and unhappiness. Instead, the Stoics thought that peace comes from accepting life as it unfolds and responding wisely to whatever challenges arise. To illustrate, imagine being stuck in traffic. You can't control the cars around you or the speed of the traffic flow, but you can control how you react. You can choose to get angry and stressed, or you can take a deep breath, play some calming music, and use the time to reflect by focusing on your response rather than the situation. You regain a sense of power without trying to control the uncontrollable. Eastern philosophies, particularly Taoism, offer a similar perspective. In Taoism, there's a concept called Wu, often translated as effortless action or non-doing. This doesn't mean doing nothing. It means aligning yourself with the natural flow of life instead of resisting it. Imagine a river flowing downstream. If you try to swim against the current, you'll exhaust yourself. But if you go with the flow, you'll move effortlessly and harmoniously. Taoism teaches that the more you try to force things, the more you disrupt the balance of life. Instead, true power comes from surrendering to the natural order and acting in harmony with it one. Tower's story beautifully captures this idea. It tells of an old man who falls into a rushing river. Onlookers fear he'll drown, but he emerges unharmed. Downstream, when asked how he survived, he replies, "I didn't fight the water. I let it carry me and adapt it to its flow." This story highlights the wisdom of letting go and trusting the process rather than trying to control what's beyond your power. Both Stoicism and Taoism offer practical wisdom for navigating the paradox of control in modern life. They remind us that while we can't dictate the events of the world, we can control how we interpret and respond to them. By focusing on what's within our sphere of influence, we can find peace, freedom, and even strength in letting go. Understanding the paradox of control isn't just an intellectual exercise, it's a transformative mindset when you accept 20951 that not everything is within your grasp. You free yourself from unnecessary stress and frustration. You stop wasting energy on battles you can't win and start focusing on what truly matters, your actions, your choices, and your attitude. This shift can lead to a more fulfilling and balanced life, where you're no longer a prisoner of your own need for control. Music. Let's shift our focus to the psychological side. One of the most fascinating concepts in psychology is the illusion of control. This refers to the human tendency to overestimate our ability to influence events, even when the outcomes are largely determined by chance. For example, in studies where participants were asked to roll dice or play lottery games, many believed they could improve their chances of winning by rolling the dice a certain way or choosing lucky numbers logically. We know these outcomes are random, but our brains trick us into thinking we have some influence. This illusion isn't limited to games of chance. It shows up in everyday life, like when people wear lucky socks before an important event or avoid walking under ladders. These small rituals give us a sense of control over situations where we actually have none. Why do we fall for this illusion? One reason is that it feels good having control, or even just the illusion of it reduces anxiety and helps us feel more confident. This tendency is deeply rooted in our psychology. Think about it. If you believe you have control, you're more likely to take action, even if the odds are against you. This belief has evolutionary advantages. Early humans who felt in control of their environment were more 21151 likely to take risks that led to survival, like hunting or exploring new territories over time. This belief in control, even when it wasn't entirely accurate, became ingrained in the human mind. However, this same tendency can backfire when we cling to control in situations where it's clearly impossible, like predicting the stock market or trying to manage someone else's emotions. Another reason we crave control is emotional. Uncertainty is uncomfortable. It makes us feel vulnerable, exposed, and at times even scared. Imagine walking into a dark room you've never been in before. Your first instinct is to find the light switch because being in control of your environment makes you feel safe. This emotional craving for control shows up in all areas of life. We plan our days meticulously, track every penny we spend, and even try to predict the future through weather apps and long-term financial plans. These efforts are not inherently bad. They help us function in a complex world, but when taken too far, they can become a source of stress rather than relief. For instance, someone who 21305 constantly checks their phone for updates on their flight status may end up feeling more anxious than reassured. The irony is that our attempts to avoid uncertainty often create more of it. When does the desire for control cross the line and become destructive? A clear example is micromanagement. Imagine a boss who insists on approving every tiny decision their employees make. They rewrite emails, dictate how to organize desks, and insist on constant updates. At first, this might seem like a way to maintain high standards, but over 21342 time it creates frustration and resentment. Employees feel stifled, creativity suffers, and the workplace becomes toxic. The boss, instead of feeling more in control, is constantly stressed and overwhelmed. This is the paradox of control in action. The more they try to control, the more things fall apart. Perfectionism is another example of how control can backfire. A perfectionist is someone who sets impossibly high standards for themselves or others and feels like anything less than perfect is a failure. This mindset often stems from a fear of 2:1421 losing in control. For example, a perfectionist student might spend hours rewriting an essay because they're terrified of getting a bad grade, while striving for excellence can be positive. Perfectionism is different. It leads to procrastination, burnout, and a constant sense of dissatisfaction. The student may turn in their essay late or not at all, feeling defeated before they even start again. The harder they try to control the outcome, the more they struggle to achieve it. Obsessive behaviors also stem from a destructive need for control. Consider someone who obsessively cleans their house, not because it's dirty, but because they feel anxious when things aren't perfectly in order. They might spend hours rearranging furniture or scrubbing already clean surfaces, unable to relax until everything feels just right. This behavior is often tied to anxiety. Cleaning provides a temporary sense of control over their environment, but it doesn't address the deeper fears driving the behavior. In extreme cases, this need can take over their life, leaving little room, 2:1532, for relationships, hobbies, or relaxation. It becomes especially harmful in relationships. Imagine a partner who tries to control every aspect of their significant other's life, from what they weigh to who they talk to. While this might come from a place of insecurity or love, it often leads to tension and resentment. The controlled partner feels trapped, while the controlling partner becomes consumed by their own fears. Instead of creating closeness, their need for control pushes the other person away. This is another example of how it can create the very problem it's trying to solve. What's the solution? The first step is recognizing when your desire for control is causing harm. Ask yourself, am I trying to control something I have no influence over? Am I focusing on things outside my sphere of control, like other people's opinions or the outcome of a situation? If the answer is yes, it's time to shift your focus. Instead of trying to control the uncontrollable, redirect your energy toward what? You can control your thoughts, actions, and responses. This shift isn't easy, but it's incredibly freeing. It allows you to let go of unnecessary stress and focus on what truly matters. Psychologists often suggest mindfulness as a way to break free from unhealthy control. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When you're mindful, you're less likely to get caught up in thoughts about what might go wrong or how to prevent it. Instead, you focus on what you can do right now. For example, if you're worried about an upcoming exam, mindfulness might help you focus on studying effectively rather than spiraling into anxiety about the grade. This doesn't mean ignoring the future. It means approaching it with a clearer, calmer mindset. Another helpful approach is practicing self-compassion. People who struggle with this often hold themselves to impossibly high standards and beat themselves up when they fall short. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend if you make a mistake, instead of obsessing over it. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes. This simple shift in perspective can help you let go of perfectionism and focus on growth. Instead, ultimately understanding the psychology of control helps us see why we crave it and how it can lead us astray. It's not about eliminating it entirely. That's neither possible nor desirable. Instead, it's about finding balance. Control is a tool, not a solution. When used wisely, it can help us navigate life's challenges. But when we let it dominate our thoughts and actions, it becomes a trap. By recognizing the limits of control and focusing on what truly 2:1837 matters, we can break free from this trap and live more balanced, fulfilling lives. Letting go of control might sound counterintuitive, especially in a world that often praises those who take charge or make things happen. But what if true strength lies in knowing when to release your grip? Eastern philosophies, particularly Taoism and Zen Buddhism, offer profound insights into this idea. They teach us that letting go isn't about giving up. It's about aligning with the natural flow of life, accepting what is, and finding peace in the present moment. By exploring these teachings and applying practical techniques, we can learn how to let go in ways that enhance our lives rather than diminish them. In Taoism, there's a concept called Wu, which is often translated as effortless action or non-doing, but don't be misled by the term Wu-O-Y. Doesn't mean doing nothing or being lazy. It's about taking action in harmony with the natural flow of the world rather than fighting against it. Imagine a river flowing downstream. You could exhaust yourself trying to swim upstream, or you could let the current carry you while steering gently in the direction you want to go. Wu-Wei is about recognizing when to act and when to let things unfold on their own. For example, in a difficult conversation, instead of forcing your point of view, you might listen deeply and respond thoughtfully, letting the interaction flow naturally. By practicing Wu-Oi, you conserve energy and create less resistance. In life, Zen Buddhism offers a similar perspective on letting go, particularly through the practice of acceptance and presence. Zen teaches that much of our 2050 suffering comes from resisting reality, wishing things were different, or trying to control outcomes that are beyond our reach. The Zen approach encourages us to fully experience the present moment without judgment. This doesn't mean passively accepting everything that happens. Rather, it means being mindful of what is happening now and responding with clarity and wisdom. For instance, if you're feeling overwhelmed by a situation, instead of panicking or trying to fix everything immediately, you could take a moment to breathe, acknowledge your feelings, and then decide your next step with a calm mind. Zen reminds us that peace isn't found in controlling the future, but in being fully present here. And music. Now, so how can we bring these philosophies into our daily lives? One of the first steps is learning to distinguish between what you can and cannot control. This might seem simple, but it requires a deep level of self-awareness and honesty. A helpful exercise is to ask yourself, what part of this situation is within my influence? For example, if you're worried about a job interview, you can control how much you prepare, how you present yourself, and how you respond to questions. But you can't control the interviewer's mood, the competition, or the final decision. By focusing on what you can control, you can reduce unnecessary stress and channel your energy effectively. Another practical tool for letting go of control is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment. When you're mindful, you become more aware of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, which makes it easier to let go of the need to control everything. For example, if you notice yourself getting frustrated because something isn't going your way, mindfulness allows you to pause, recognize the feeling, and choose a healthier response. You might say to yourself, I can't control this outcome, but I can control how I react over time. Mindfulness helps you develop a sense of inner calm and resilience. Journaling is another powerful technique for letting go. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you gain clarity and perspective on situations that feel overwhelming. For example, if you're struggling with a problem at work, journaling can help you identify what's really bothering you and what you can do about it. It's also a way to release pent-up emotions and let go of the things you can't change. Some people find it helpful to create two columns in their journal, one for things they can control and another for things they can't. This simple exercise can be a powerful reminder of where to focus your energy. Reframing your perspective is another key strategy for letting go. Often our struggles with this come from the way we interpret situations. For example, if you view a setback as a failure, you might feel the urge to control everything to prevent it from happening again. But if you reframe the setback as a learning opportunity, you're more likely to accept it and move forward with less stress. Reframing is about shifting your focus from what's wrong to what's possible. It's not about ignoring problems, but about seeing them in a way that empowers you to take meaningful action without unnecessary worry. Ultimately, letting go of control is a practice, a skill you develop over time. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty. There will be moments when you fall back into old patterns of trying to control everything, and that's okay. The key is to notice when it happens. Remind yourself of what you've learned and start again. Every step you take toward letting go brings you closer to a life of greater peace, freedom, and joy. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning 22508, your goals, or ignoring your responsibilities. It's about approaching life with a sense of balance and trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in the process and trust that things will unfold as they're meant to. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you create space for growth, creativity, and unexpected opportunities, and in that space, you may find that life becomes not only easier, but also richer and more fulfilling. As you let go, you begin to discover that what you once thought was weakness, surrendering control, is actually a profound source of 22546 strength. To truly understand the paradox of control, we must turn to the teachings of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that offers timeless wisdom for navigating life's challenges. At the heart of Stoicism lies the dichotomy of control, a simple but profound concept that helps us distinguish between what we can influence and what lies beyond our reach. The Stoic philosopher Epicurus famously put it this way: some things are up to us and some things are not. This statement forms the foundation of Stoic thinking and is perhaps one of the most practical 22636 tools for dealing with the unpredictability of life. So what exactly did Epicurus mean for the Stoics? The things up to us are our own thoughts, actions, choices, and attitudes. These are the aspects of life where we have direct influence. For example, you can decide how to react to an insult, how much effort to put into a task, or how to treat others. On the other hand, things not up to us include external events, the opinions of others, and even the ultimate outcomes of our actions. You can prepare thoroughly for a test, but you can't guarantee the questions will align with what you studied. You can offer kindness to someone, but you can't control whether they'll reciprocate. The Stoics argue that peace and freedom come from focusing on the things you can control while accepting the rest as it is. One of the most important lessons in Stoicism is the distinction between internal and external control. Internal control refers to your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, things that are entirely yours. To manage external control includes fact, like other people's actions, natural events, or random occurrences. A Stoic would say that worrying about external matters is a waste of energy because they're beyond your influence. Instead, They encourage you to cultivate mastery over your internal world. For example, if someone criticizes you unfairly, you can't stop them from speaking, but you can control how you interpret their words and whether you let them affect your self-esteem. By shifting your focus inward, you gain a sense of agency and stability even when the external world feels chaotic. The Stoics also emphasize letting go of attachment to outcomes. This doesn't mean abandoning effort or ambition. It means recognizing that you can only control the process, not the result. For instance, imagine you're planting a garden. You can choose the seeds, prepare the soil, and water the plants diligently, but you can't control the weather or ensure that every seed will sprout. The Stoics teach that your responsibility is to do your best with the parts you can control and release any anxiety about the rest. This mindset not only reduces stress, but also helps you approach life with greater resilience and music perspective. To help cultivate this perspective, the Stoics developed practical exercises that remain relevant today. One of these is the view from above exercise, which involves imagining yourself looking down at the world from a bird's eye view. From this perspective, your individual problems shrink in comparison to the vastness of the universe. This practice reminds you of how small most worries are in the grand scheme of things, helping you let go of unnecessary stress. Another useful exercise is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves mentally rehearsing potential challenges or setbacks before they happen. For example, if you're preparing for a job interview, you might consider what could go wrong, such as being asked a difficult question or facing rejection. By imagining these scenarios in advance, you can prepare yourself emotionally and strategically, making it easier to stay composed if they occur. These Stoic principles align closely with modern self-development approaches. For instance, the idea of focusing on what you can control is echoed in cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT, a widely used psychological method for managing anxiety and stress. CBT teaches people to identify and challenge unhelpful thoughts, replacing them with realistic and constructive perspectives. Similarly, mindfulness practices encourage individuals to focus on the present moment and accept things as they are without getting caught up in what they can't change. Both approaches reflect the Stoic belief that inner peace comes from mastering your mind and responses, rather 23100, than trying to control the uncontrollable. One of the most inspiring examples of Stoicism in action comes from Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the most famous Stoic philosophers. Despite ruling during a time of immense political instability, war, and personal loss, Marcus Aurelius remained committed to the Stoic principles of self-control and acceptance in his personal journal, which we now know as Meditations. He wrote extensively about the importance of focusing on one's duties and maintaining a virtuous character regardless of external circumstances. For example, during a devastating plague that swept through the Roman Empire, Marcus couldn't control the spread of the disease or the suffering it caused, but he could control how he responded as a leader by staying calm, making rational decisions, and prioritizing the welfare of his people. His ability to remain grounded in the face of such challenges is a testament to the power of Stoic philosophy. The Stoic perspective on control offers a blueprint for living with greater clarity and purpose. By embracing the dichotomy of control, you free yourself from the stress of trying to manage the unmanageable. Instead, you channel your energy into what truly matters, your thoughts, actions, and character. This shift not only leads to greater inner peace, but also empowers you to navigate life's uncertainties with grace and resilience. The next time you find yourself caught in a web of worry or frustration, remember this simple truth: some things are up to you and some things are not. Focus on the former and let the rest take care of itself. Music, when it comes to understanding control. Western philosophers and psychologists have provided profound insights into how the need to control shapes our lives and minds. They've explored the consequences of overreaching control, the ways it distorts our inner and outer worlds, and how letting go of this need can lead to a more authentic and meaningful existence. Let's unpack their ideas and see how they apply to our modern lives. Let's start with Friedrich, one of the most provocative and influential philosophers in Western thought. Nietzsche introduced the concept of the will to power, which he saw as the driving force behind human ambition and creativity. The will to power is essentially the desire to assert influence, to grow, and to overcome limitations. But it also warned that when this drive becomes excessive, when we strive for absolute control, it can distort our sense of self and lead to inauthenticity. Think about a person who sacrifices their true values to climb the social ladder, constantly curating their image to fit societal expectations. In trying to control how the world perceives them, they lose touch with who they really are. And believe that true power doesn't come from controlling external circumstances, but from embracing the chaos of life and channeling it into personal growth. He urged individuals to create their own values and live authentically, even in the face of uncertainty and unpredictability. Albert Camus, another towering figure in philosophy, approached the question of control from a very different angle. Camus is best known for his philosophy of the absurd, the idea that life has no inherent meaning, and that humans in their search for meaning are bound to confront this absurdity. Instead of despairing over this lack of control, Camus argued that we should embrace it. In his essay, The Myth of Copus Camus tells the story of Copus, a figure from Greek mythology condemned to roll a boulder up a hill only for it to roll back down each time he reaches the top. Camus saw Copus as a metaphor for the human condition. Even though we can't control the ultimate outcome of life, we can choose how we face its challenges by accepting the absurd and refusing to be paralyzed by it. We gain a sense of freedom. Camus believed that life becomes richer and more meaningful when we stop trying to control it and instead live fully in the present moment, appreciating the beauty and experiences it offers. Moving into psychology, Jung offers profound insights into the dangers of over-controlling our inner world. Jung's concept of the shadow self refers to the parts of our personality that we suppress or deny because they don't align with our self-image or societal expectations. For example, someone who sees themselves as kind and compassionate might suppress feelings of anger or jealousy, refusing to acknowledge their darker emotions. But Jung argued that this attempt to control and suppress our shadow self only makes it more powerful, leading to inner conflict and projection. When we deny parts of ourselves, they don't disappear. They show up in other ways, like impulsive actions, recurring conflict ideas, or even mental health struggles. Jung believed that true self-acceptance comes from integrating the shadow, acknowledging and embracing 23700, all parts of ourselves, even the ones we find uncomfortable. By letting go of the need to control our inner world, we can achieve a deeper sense of wholeness and peace. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, approached this issue from a profoundly personal perspective in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl describes how even in the unimaginable suffering of a concentration camp, he discovered that while he couldn't control his circumstances, he could control his response to them. Frankl believed that humans find meaning not in avoiding suffering, but in how they face it. He wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Frankl's message is a powerful reminder that the ultimate form of control lies in our ability to choose our attitude even in the face of adversity. This idea aligns with the Stoic concept of focusing on what is within our power, but Frankl takes it a step further by emphasizing the importance of finding meaning and purpose in life, even when circumstances seem bleak. The ideas of Carl Jung and Frankl offer valuable lessons for navigating this paradox in our own lives. One key takeaway is the importance of authenticity. Nietzsche's warning about the dangers of excessive control reminds us to stay true to ourselves and resist the temptation to conform to external expectations. This can be as simple as reflecting on your values and making choices that align with who you are rather than who you think you should be. Camus teaches us to embrace life's uncertainty and let go of the need to find ultimate answers. This doesn't mean giving up. It means shifting your focus from controlling outcomes to appreciating the journey. For example, instead of obsessing over whether a project will succeed, focus on the process and what you can learn along the way. This mindset can help reduce anxiety and make life more enjoyable. From Jung, we learn the importance of self-acceptance rather than trying to suppress your darker emotions or impulses. Take the time to understand them. Techniques like journaling or therapy can help you explore your shadow self and integrate it into your identity by acknowledging and accepting all parts of yourself. You can reduce inner conflict and build emotional resilience. Finally, Frankl's emphasis on meaning reminds us to focus on what we can control, our attitude and perspective when faced with challenges. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow even in difficult situations? Finding a sense of purpose can help you move forward with strength and dignity. For example, if you're dealing with a setback at work, instead of dwelling on the frustration, look for ways to develop new skills or strengthen your relationships with colleagues together. These thinkers offer a roadmap for navigating the complexities of control. They remind us that while we can't dictate every aspect of life, we can choose how we respond to it by embracing uncertainty, accepting ourselves, and finding meaning in our experiences. We can break free from the traps of over-control and live more authentic, fulfilling lives. Music, to wrap up today's discussion on the paradox of control. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered. Control is a natural human instinct it provides us with, a sense of security and illusion of mastery over our lives. But as we've seen, the harder we try to grip onto control, the more life tends to slip through our fingers. This paradox lies at the heart of many of our struggles. Whether we're trying to control our emotions, our relationships, or our circumstances, the truth is, the more we attempt to control things that are outside our power, the more we end up enslaved by them. This is where the power of letting go comes into play. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning our goals or responsibilities, nor does it mean resigning ourselves to a passive existence. Instead, it means learning to discern between what is within our control and what is not. It is in releasing our attachment to outcomes that we open ourselves to a deeper, more authentic way of living. As philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, and Epicus have shown us, the key to peace lies not in managing the uncontrollable, but in mastering our responses to life's unpredictability. When we focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we free ourselves from the unnecessary burden of stress and frustration. Think about a situation where things are not going your way. Instead of battling against the tide, what if you let it carry you by doing? So you might just find that what felt like a chaotic moment is actually an opportunity for growth and wisdom. This is the essence of what Taoism calls Wu Wei, effortless action. It's about aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life and acting with intention rather than force. Psychologically, we've learned that our need for control often stems from a desire to avoid uncertainty. Yet by embracing uncertainty, we can step into a space of greater freedom, whether it's through mindfulness, journaling, or reframing our perspective. We can shift our focus away from trying to control outcomes to embracing the present moment. It's not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right things with the right mindset. I encourage you to reflect on your own life. What are you trying to control? Are there areas where you're gripping too tightly, causing more harm than good? Take a moment to consider how letting go might not only bring you peace, but also open doors to new possibilities. Remember, letting go doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. It's about trusting that life will unfold in its own time and trusting yourself to respond with wisdom and grace. As we conclude, think about the practices we've discussed today, whether it's adopting a Stoic mindset, practicing mindfulness, or embracing the wisdom of Taoism. All of these approaches offer a path to peace and clarity. It's not about eliminating control entirely. It's about knowing when to let go and when to take action. I challenge you, reflect on what you're trying to control. What can you let go of today? How might that bring you more freedom, more joy, and more peace in your life? Letting go is not just an idea. It's a practice, and it starts with you, right here, right now. Take a deep breath and consider the possibilities that await when you stop trying to control what you can't and focus on what you can. The paradox of control may seem daunting, but in embracing it, you may just find the key to a life of greater fulfillment and peace. Music. In the chronicles of history, few individuals have left an unfading mark on philosophy and leadership. As Marcus Aurelius, as a Roman emperor, and an ardent practitioner of Stoicism, his life was a tangible proof of self-discipline and resilience. Today, we will take an in-depth look at his philosophies, explore how he taught and demonstrated self-discipline throughout his life, and discover realistic ways in which his teachings to build self-discipline can be applied in our modern lives. Stoicism revolves around the ideology of a philosophical school that began in ancient Greece and thrived during the Roman era. Stoicism gained great popularity through the writings and teachings of Marcus Aurelius. However, early Stoic philosophers such as Epicurus and Zeno of Citium made outstanding contributions to the knowledge of Stoic philosophy. Stoicism is a philosophy that teaches and emphasizes self-discipline, personal virtue, and resilience. It provides a platform and system for negotiating life's challenges, handling and managing emotions, and finding peace amidst external turmoil. Stoics believe that while we cannot control the events that happen around us, we have complete sovereignty over our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. The Stoic philosophy provides profound depth into the nature of human existence and our relationship and partnership with the world. It admonishes us to forego events beyond our control and focus on what is within our strength and control. By practicing key virtues such as understanding, self-control, and equity, Stoicism guides us toward a life of moral uprightness, transformation, and personal growth. The pinnacle of the adherence to Stoic philosophy was demonstrated in the year 165 AD when the Roman Empire was struck by a devastating pandemic known as the Antonine Plague. Ravaging the land and claiming countless lives, it brought about fear and chaos to the Roman Empire, leading to one of the great depressions ever experienced amidst this crisis. Emperor Marcus Aurelius demonstrated an extraordinary leadership acumen, combining his unwavering resolve with the profound teachings of Stoic philosophy. Through his Stoic mindset, he navigated the challenges of the plague, bringing stability, courage, and hope to his people. The Antonine Plague, believed to be a smallpox or measles outbreak, affected the Roman Empire with unparalleled ferocity. The disease spread, rapidly crumbling the social and economic system of the empire and putting the citizens in fear due to the uncertainty and devastation that the plague brought. Aurelius, burdened with the responsibility of leadership, recognized the dire need for a guiding light. In this time of turmoil, turning to the Stoic philosophy, he sought wisdom and inner strength to overcome the challenge that was before him. Stoicism, which emphasizes on embracing life's challenges and maintaining virtue in the face of challenges and adversity, became Aurelius's guiding principle. Drawing inspiration from great Stoic philosophers like Epicurus and Seneca, who view that virtue is sufficient for happiness, he learned that true happiness and strength lie within one's mind, independent of external circumstances. By accepting the realities of the plague, Aurelius fostered resilience, refusing to be consumed by fear. Instead, he focused on what was within his control, his own character. In response to the prevailing crisis, Marcus Aurelius led by example, embodying the Stoic virtues he embraced. He displayed unwavering strength and fortitude, remaining steadfast in the face of personal tragedy and immense challenges. Despite the constant risk to his own health, he tirelessly attended to the 24906 needs of his people, demonstrating empathy and compassion through his actions. He encouraged his subjects to steadfast and find peace within themselves. Stoicism provided him with a powerful framework to find meaning and purpose. In the midst of chaos, he understood that the plague was an opportunity for personal growth and collective resilience. The crisis served as a reminder of the transient nature of life and the importance of living virtuously by contemplating the impermanence of existence. Aurelius urged his people to cherish every moment, to prioritize virtue over material gain, and to cultivate a sense of gratitude, even in the worst times. Though the Antonine Plague inflicted great suffering, Aurelius's application of Stoic philosophy brought strength and comfort to the Roman Empire. His leadership and resilience made way for the eventual recovery and restoration of the empire. The lessons of Stoicism, as demonstrated by Aurelius, continue to resonate today, reminding us of the indomitable power of the human spirit and the ability to find inner peace amidst the most difficult trials. The Antonine Plague was the most challenging time for the Roman Empire. In the face of this harrowing challenge, Marcus Aurelius turned to the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy through the virtues of courage, resilience, and wisdom. He inspired his people to weather the storm and rebuild their lives. His Stoic mindset serves as a ray of hope, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can rise above adversity, maintain hope, and triumph in victory. The teachings of Stoicism over the years have remained relevant and continue to provide intelligent recommendations to individuals seeking guidance in navigating the complexities of life. It focuses on resilience, self-discipline, and other virtues that provide practical tools for facing daily challenges, managing adversity, and finding meaning in an ever-changing, complex world. There are key principles we will consider that will serve as a guide to assess our lives, as well as teachings of Stoic philosophers through which we would find pragmatic ways to apply the concept of Stoicism through the knowledge of Stoic philosophy. We can begin on a transformative journey toward self-discovery, mastering inner peace, and living a well-fulfilled music life. Marcus Aurelius, renowned as a preeminent philosopher, wholeheartedly embraced Stoicism as his guiding principle and seamlessly integrated its tenets into every facet of his life. Originating in ancient Greece, Stoicism gained widespread recognition during the Roman era, emphasizing the cultivation of virtue and resilience in the face of obstacles and hardship. Central to this philosophy is the pursuit of self-mastery through the practice of self-control and in discipline. As an esteemed Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius epitomized the essence of Stoicism, embodying its teachings and employing them to navigate the complexities of his existence with unwavering wisdom and fortitude. The practice of Stoicism encourages individuals to develop their inner strength and build resilience, develop moral character by practicing temperance and applying wisdom and ensure equity. Moreover, Stoics acknowledge the significance of resilience in effectively dealing with adversity. The Stoic principles empower individuals to gain sovereignty and control over their minds and invariably their thoughts, emotions, and actions in line with their values and goals. In essence, Stoicism offers a comprehensive framework for personal growth and the pursuit of a virtuous and resilient life. Humans are generally emotional beings. Our emotions, thoughts, and actions are within our power and control. However, events and happenings may be beyond our control. This is the core of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius believed that true authority stems from self-mastery, the ability to govern our own thoughts and responses. Through the cultivation of self-discipline, we can attain this inner strength. In his renowned work, Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote encapsulates the Stoic notion that external circumstances should not dictate our internal state of being. Instead, we should channel our energy into mastering our thoughts and emotions. Exceptional leaders often encountered the most arduous trials during their reigns. And Marcus Aurelius, as the Emperor of Rome, was no exception. His tenure was marked by a multitude of formidable challenges and setbacks, testing his fortitude and resolve. As the sovereign of Rome, Aurelius confronted scores of complex predicaments that demanded his utmost attention and strategic acumen. Political unrest, military campaigns, and economic turbulence were but a few of the obstacles that threatened the stability and prosperity of the Roman Empire. Nevertheless, he approached these adversities with steadfast determination and an unwavering commitment to his people and their welfare. Throughout his reign, Aurelius demonstrated unparalleled resilience. In the face of setbacks, he recognized that leadership necessitates perseverance in times of difficulty. Whether confronted with military defeats or internal conflicts, he remained resolute, unyielding in his pursuit of solutions that would safeguard the empire's well-being. His ability to rise above setbacks and maintain a steadfast resolve became a hallmark of his leadership. Furthermore, his philosophical convictions, particularly his embrace of Stoicism, provided him with invaluable guidance. During times of tribulation, Stoicism taught him to view challenges as opportunities for growth and to maintain an unwavering sense of virtue. Amid adversity, it emphasized the development of inner strength and the acceptance of circumstances beyond one's control. By incorporating Stoic principles into his leadership approach, Aurelius was able to confront setbacks with a Stoic mindset, fostering resilience and inspiring those around him. Despite the formidable obstacles he faced, he remained dedicated to the welfare of his people. His commitment to good governance and the pursuit of justice served as a guiding force throughout his reign. He actively sought to address the concerns of his subjects, implementing reforms to improve living conditions and promote the general welfare of the empire. The personal life of Marcus greatly showed his ability to maintain and practice self-discipline, as he was found to practice humility, recognizing the transience of power and material possessions, even as emperor. Meditations and reflections characterized by continuous self-development while in pursuit of knowledge were key attributes to the personal life of Marcus. He was also a man of impeccable character and contributed in no little way to guide his actions and decisions. Aurelius emerged as a leader of immense strength and wisdom, leaving an enduring legacy of fortitude and compassion. The modern-day world continuously explores Stoic principles, as demonstrated by Marcus Aurelius. We can apply some of these same principles to build self-discipline in our lives today. Maintaining consistency and self-evaluation are powerful tools for the practice of self-discipline. Like Marcus Aurelius, we can practice a morning ritual of reflection and self-examination to reflect on our value system and life purpose. and see how our actions and deeds align with them. Engaging in regular exercise as a physical discipline not only benefits our physical health, but also fortifies our mental resilience. Marcus recognized a profound connection between the mind and body, emphasizing the importance of maintaining both. Mindfulness serves as another potent tool for cultivating self-discipline. By training ourselves to be fully present in each moment, we can better control our reactions and make conscious choices. Stoicism encourages us to practice gratitude and cultivate a sense of equanimity. Marcus Aurelius believed that acknowledging the beauty and wonders of life, even amidst difficulties, can foster resilience and inner strength. By practicing gratitude daily and maintaining perspective, we can develop steadfastness of character. Finally, community and connection play an essential role in Stoic philosophy. Marcus believed in the power of collaboration and supporting others in their journey toward self-discipline. A critical look at Stoic philosophy in building self-discipline in our world today would require the application of the Marcus Aurelius principles. The first thing to consider is the emphasis on having control over the mind, which was detailed in the works 250-851 of Marcus Aurelius, the Meditation, where he explored the quality of our lives as having a direct correlation to our thought patterns and the importance of controlling it. Marcus Aurelius believed that true power lies in our ability to govern our own minds and choose our thoughts consciously. According to Marcus Aurelius, our thoughts shape our perceptions, emotions, and actions. He recognized that negative or unhelpful thoughts can lead to suffering and hinder our ability to live fulfilling lives. Therefore, he advocated for the practice of mindfulness and self-awareness, encouraging individuals to become aware of their thought patterns and actively challenge negative beliefs. Controlling our thoughts requires discipline and constant vigilance. It involves questioning the validity of our thoughts, reframing negative narratives, and choosing more empowering perspectives. By cultivating an inner dialogue that is rooted in reason and virtue, we can align our thoughts with Stoic principles and lead a more fulfilling life. One practical technique Marcus Aurelius employed was journaling. Through daily reflection and introspection, he examined his thoughts and emotions, seeking to understand their origins and impact. This practice allowed him to identify recurring patterns of thinking and make conscious adjustments to promote more constructive thoughts. By mastering our thoughts, Marcus Aurelius believed we could develop resilience in the face of adversity. He recognized that external events are beyond our control, but we have the power to choose our responses. By consciously directing our thoughts towards gratitude, acceptance, and virtue, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and strength, regardless of the circumstances in the modern world. The practice of controlling our thoughts remains relevant and applicable. We must learn and cultivate the act of being conscious of our thinking patterns, overcoming negative thoughts, and developing positive perceptions in order to enhance our well-being, resilience, and ability to navigate life's challenges with composure. Secondly, the Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of accepting 30111, what is beyond our control, and shifting our focus toward what we can influence, our actions and attitudes. Stoics believe that dwelling on circumstances outside of our control leads to unnecessary distress and frustration. Instead, they advocate for directing our energy towards aspects we have the power to shape our own choices, behaviors, and mindset. By accepting the inevitability of change and uncertainty, we can adapt with greater resilience and maintain a sense of inner peace. A critical look at the Stoic principle portrays that our greatest strength lies in our sphere of influence. We must cultivate an approach of focusing on what is within our sphere of influence and taking deliberate actions that align with our value systems. Thirdly, Marcus believed in the significance of setting intentions and goals that align with our values. A clear sense of calling, vision, and life purpose are keys to mastering self-discipline by recognizing our values and ensuring it aligns with our goals. We create a solid system for our decision and action setting. Intentions rooted in our values helps us prioritize what truly matters to us and provides a guiding compass in navigating life's challenges. It allows us to make choices and decisions that are in line with our authentic selves, fostering a sense of integrity and fulfillment toward our purpose. By clarifying our purpose and identifying meaningful objectives, we can direct our efforts and actions towards self-discipline and personal growth. Music. Fourthly, according to Marcus Aurelius, practicing self-restraint is a fundamental aspect of building self-discipline. He believed that exercising control over our desires, impulses, and emotions is essential for cultivating inner strength and achieving personal growth. By practicing self-restraint, we develop the ability to delay gratification, resist temptations, and make conscious choices that align with our long-term goals and values. Marcus Aurelius understood that self-restraint is not about denying ourselves pleasure, but rather about making deliberate choices that lead to greater fulfillment and personal development in the long run. We strengthen our willpower and become more committed to our path of self-discipline by exercising self-restraint. Cultivating resilience is indeed a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. As emphasized by Marcus, Stoicism teaches us to embrace the inevitable challenges and setbacks that life presents, recognizing them as opportunities for growth and learning. Resilience, in this context, refers to the ability to face challenges and adversity and maintain an inner sense of strength and stability. According to Marcus, resilience is nurtured through a mindset that accepts the transiency and unpredictability of life. Stoics understand that external circumstances are beyond our control, but we have agency over our internal responses by accepting the inevitability of change and the uncertainties of the world. We cultivate an inner fortitude that allows us to pull the storm with strength and composure. Resilience in Stoicism also involves reframing setbacks and failures as stepping stones on the path to personal development rather than viewing obstacles as roadblocks. Stoics see them as opportunities to practice virtues such as patience, perseverance, and courage. By embracing challenges as part of our journey, we develop the resilience necessary to navigate life's ups and downs. If we focus our strength on events we can control, we direct our energy towards this aspect to develop a more positive attitude. We build resilience by not allowing external events to dictate our emotional well-being. This resilience allows us to maintain a sense of inner peace and stability even in the face of adversity. Cultivating resilience in Stoic philosophy means accepting the perfections of life, reframing setbacks as opportunities for growth, and focusing on what is within our music control. Before we conclude this video, let us uncover 3 invaluable lessons from Marcus Aurelius's magnum opus Meditations that can help us build self-discipline and understand its significance in leading a virtuous and fulfilling life. Lesson 1. The power of the present moment in Meditations. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not disturb yourself by picturing your life as a whole. Do not assemble in your mind the many and very troubles which have come to you in the past and will come again in the future, but ask yourself with regard to every present difficulty, what is there in this that is unbearable and beyond endurance?" This quote encapsulates the essence of focusing on the present moment. Often our minds are consumed by past regrets or future anxieties, which in turn hampers our ability to exercise self-discipline. Aurelius teaches us the importance of concentrating on the here and now. By doing so, we can break down seemingly insurmountable challenges into manageable pieces and exercise control and discipline in our immediate actions. This focus on the present moment is a cornerstone of self-discipline, allowing us to take meaningful and virtuous actions without being overwhelmed. Lesson 2. Detachment from external validation. Marcus Aurelius was acutely aware of the transient nature of fame and the opinion of others. He wrote, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinions of himself than on the opinions of others." This observation highlights the human tendency to seek validation and approval from the outside world, often at the expense of our own values and integrity. Self-discipline, as Aurelius suggests, requires a detachment from this external validation. Instead, we must focus on cultivating inner virtues and following our moral compass. This inner-directed focus enables us to make decisions and take actions that are in alignment with our values rather than being swayed by the ever-changing opinions of others. It helps us to build a strong foundation of self-discipline, which is grounded in self-respect and personal integrity. Lesson 3, adaptability and acceptance. One of the most celebrated quotes from Meditations is, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This quote is the epitome of adaptability and acceptance, two traits closely associated with self. Music. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that obstacles and challenges are not just to be endured, but can be transformed into opportunities for growth. And learning self-discipline involves the ability to adapt our actions and attitudes in response to the challenges we face. Instead of resisting or lamenting the difficulties, we can embrace them as opportunities to exercise virtue, to learn, and to grow. This mindset not only helps in building self-discipline, but also in fostering resilience and a deep sense of contentment. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations offers a treasure trove of wisdom for building self-discipline through focusing on a present moment. 30905. Detaching from external validation and embracing adaptability and acceptance. We can cultivate a form of self-discipline that is deeply grounded in wisdom and virtue. This self-discipline is not just about control, but about living a life of purpose, meaning, and fulfillment, regardless of the external music circumstances, by embracing the core principles of Stoicism, self-mastery, acceptance, and resilience. We have the potential to cultivate self-discipline in our modern lives. Self-mastery, as Marcus Aurelius believes, starts with gaining control over our thoughts and emotions by actively observing and guiding our inner world. We can shape our responses to external events and maintain a sense of composure and clarity. Acceptance is another crucial element of building self-discipline. Developing resilience, as espoused by Aurelius, is cultivated by reframing setbacks as opportunities for growth, by viewing obstacles as stepping stones on our journey. We can develop the strength and perseverance necessary to face adversity with unwavering determination. Resilience also involves 3-10-22, maintaining a sense of inner peace and stability, even when circumstances are chaotic or unfavorable. To build self-discipline, we can incorporate practical strategies inspired by Aurelius into our lives by establishing consistent routines, engaging in physical discipline, practicing mindfulness, expressing gratitude, and fostering communal support. All contribute to our growth and development. Ultimately, living a more disciplined and fulfilling life can be achieved by following the Marcus Aurelius principles. We can develop the strength and fortitude to navigate through life's challenges with self-control. As we stand at the crossroads of history and philosophy, the figure of Marcus Aurelius towers, above casting a long shadow that has weathered the sands of time in a world that is often chaotic and ever-changing. The importance of self-discipline becomes a beacon, a guiding light that can lead us through the storm through the lens of Aurelius and his Stoic teachings. Self-discipline is not a mere trait, but an art of living. Self-discipline is the compass by which we navigate the seas of life. It is the anchor that holds us steady amid tempests and the sails that propel us forward through self-discipline. We attain a mastery over ourselves elves, which in turn begets a deeper understanding and engagement with the world around us. The life and philosophy of Marcus Aurelius serve as a testament to the transformative power of self-discipline in this constantly interconnected world where distractions are incessant and information is ceaseless. We need self-discipline now more than ever. It is through self-discipline that we can filter out the noise and focus on what truly matters. It is through self-discipline that we can be true to our values and principles and act not on impulse but with deliberation and wisdom. What is particularly astonishing is how Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who lived nearly 2 millennia ago, could grapple with many of the same challenges and inner conflicts that we face today. This illuminates a profound truth. The human experience at its core is unchanging. Our fears, aspirations, dilemmas, and yearnings weave a common thread through the tapestry of time. And it is in this tapestry that the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius finds its enduring resonance. We live in an age of unprecedented opportunities and possibilities, yet with these opportunities come challenges and responsibilities. The stoic wisdom of Marcus Aurelius equips us with the mental fortitude to embrace these challenges, to wield them not as burdens, but as catalysts for growth and self-realization. As we conclude this video, let us reflect on the magnitude of our potential. Each one of us, in our own unique way, can be a philosopher, a seeker of truth, and a bearer of wisdom. Let the words of Marcus Aurelius be a reminder of the indomitable spirit that resides within each of us. Let his stoic resolve inspire us to build our reservoir of self-discipline as we forge ahead on our respective journeys. Let us carry with us the knowledge that self-discipline is not an end, but a means to lead lives of purpose, integrity, and fulfillment. Let us remember that in the grand theater of existence, we are both the playwright and the protagonist. Through self-discipline, we can pen epics of triumph ODS to joy and ballads of resilience within the vast chronic of history. Let the chapters we author be woven with threads of wisdom. Let each page be steeped in purpose, and let the ink that flows from our quills be that of self-discipline with Marcus Aurelius. As our steadfast sentinel guiding us from the revered corridors of antiquity, let us march ahead with our gazes fixed firmly on the horizon and our hearts ablaze with the boundless vigor of possibility. Music. Many of you have been asking how you can support the channel and get more engaged with our community. Well, the answer is, here we have just launched our Patreon page by becoming a patron. Not only will you be playing an essential role in sustaining this channel, but you will also get access to exclusive content and perks. Your contribution will be the fuel that keeps this channel running and helps me create more inspiring content to empower you and many others. If you're interested in joining our community, click the link in the description below to become a patron today. And as always, keep seeking, keep questioning, and stay inspired.